the Crows trying to consolidate a spot in the top two, and the Kangaroos still some sort of a chance. It is going to be a beauty, Brian Taylor. Looking forward to it very much.
Adelaide, best position they've been in at this time of the year ever since their inception in the competition, Gary. They must be absolutely loving the fact that they're second on the ladder and a chance to go a couple of games clear.
They are one of the great success stories of season 2005. Neil Craig's done a wonderful job with this side. They are balanced, they are settled. Their back half seems to get the job done every single week. Thompson's been a great inclusion from Melbourne, and then that midfield is ever dangerous when you've got the likes of Rashudo and Goodwin in it.
Speaking of Rashudo, had the flu, hasn't trained a lot this week, Gary. Goodwin, suspect with the groin injury, will play today. That's great news. He's an accomplished player. Back half's good, isn't it? Rutten, Box back into the side today, by the way, so keep an eye out for him.
Their back half is sensational. It's Bassett and Rutten, the two players in the key post there. Not the highest profile, not the most fashionable, but look at that, part of the #1 ranked defence in season 2005. And this man, Nathan Bassett, he gives away height and weight every single time he goes out, but rarely beat.
Well, with Rutten and Bock back into the side, they can take the two key forwards, Gary, and it frees this man here, Bassett, up to just do a little bit of fine-tuning, fall into the hole where necessary. He's the man they, more often than not, try to get that loose in the back and just fill up the holes. He's a leader in the back line. I know he's not a designated leader, but he is certainly one of the quiet achievers in the team.
Well, speaking of quiet achievers, there's Neil Craig, 60% winning record as Adelaide coach, relatively low profile here in Melbourne, but certainly not in Adelaide. He has just done a marvellous job, and they clearly love playing for him.
They do.
An inspired decision to appoint him as coach of the Adelaide Crows. Let's have a look at the Kangaroos now, 5th on the ladder, 10 wins, 6 losses, got over the top of Hawthorn by 41 points here last week. Did it nicely. Nathan Thompson's been a shining light in recent weeks up forward, so that battle with either Rutten or Bassett is going to be a beauty. But they are very honest too, Brian.
They are. Wells starting on the bench. Second game back for Daniel Wells, so keep an eye on him. He might get a bit more game time today. Looking forward to seeing him play. Pratt there named at half forward, probably play in the back line. The one that I've been really impressed with, Gary, and I know you have as well, Glenn Archer. Look, he's over the last couple of weeks, perhaps even for the major part of this year, he's like a 24-year-old kid. He's playing with great enthusiasm and natural vibrancy. He looks fantastic. Watt and Brown on the key posts have been good. Colbert is the man they can't afford to let get loose in that back line.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Neil Craig will have an opponent for Lee Colbert. What about Daniel Harris, the man that plays in the middle of the ground? He had a career high, in fact, 30 disposals last week, including 9 clearances. He is brave, he stands under the pack, and his ability just to extract the footy is up there with Sam Mitchell.
It is. He's a giver, Gary. He's happy to feed those around him, make his other midfield mates look better, perhaps, and he doesn't hesitate to be involved in the team play. The front and centre player was beautiful there. He's an accomplished player. Look, 30 disposals and 9 clearances last week with 5 hard ball gets. It was a career high game for him.
Looking forward to seeing Mark Rashudo, as always. Just seems to play this ground well. Beautiful kick of the footy. Look for him to be kicking some big long goals from outside 50 if the opportunity presents. Look, there's so much at stake when you think about this. The Kangaroos, some say they may not make, or they look like they'll make the 8, but they can still sneak into that top 2. And if Adelaide can win today and consolidate with a really healthy percentage, well, they might be looking at 2, or well, at least 1 home final. Who knows what's going to happen if it's a preliminary final stage.
Yeah, well, the Kangas, they've got Port next week, so they've got a tough couple of weeks ahead of them, but it is very, very achievable that they can elevate themselves well into that top part of the ladder.
And let's look for a pretty hot 5 minutes, because last time these two teams met way back in round 16, Lately had some very interesting things to say after their defeat to the Adelaide Crows.
Adelaide can't play any better than they played today, just with their intent and the occasion, if you like, and I thought we were miles off it. So if that's their best, and I reckon there's a lot of upside to us, even though we didn't get the 4 points. You know, we've got some stuff to work on, which is good.
Second on the ladder, Mark Rashudo, the skipper of the Crows, meets with Adam Simpson for the toss of the coin. And the Kangaroos will kick to the right of screen as we welcome James Brayshaw to the broadcast. James, plenty at stake this afternoon.
Very nice it is to be here too, Gary. A big couple of games involved on a Sunday, one in Sydney, of course, and this one here today. And Daniel Wells just signed for 3 years for the North Melbourne Football Club, and that's a big signing because he is a superstar in the making, and they've found it tough to hold on to players down the line, the Roos, but that is big news for Kangaroos fans during the week as we go down to Jonesy.
Yeah, well, it was a late decision to shut the roof today. They didn't actually shut it till about 1:30 this afternoon, but there are a few rain clouds around, so they decided that it should be shut just to be sure, so the supporters have a very nice day, and boundary riders. A big day. 3 of the last 4 games the Adelaide Crows have won here, so they do have good form at the Telstra Dome. And just on that surface down that locket end that we seem to talk about every week, there it is right there. They've aerated it, and BT, it doesn't look great, does it? But it does get the job done.
Look, it's improved dramatically. We saw on Friday night players did not slip over. They've taken the moisture out of it by aerating it, not watering it anymore. Doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as it plays well.
They've taken the moisture out of it by killing it, Brian.
Well, they have, and they've aerated it, Gary, because you can't have compacting soil and allow the moisture to build up on top.
Well, that's right. I think it has played better over the past couple of days, so that is a good thing. 2 sides making their way out. Looks like Rutten has gone down to Thompson. That's going to be a pivotal duel.
Glenn Archer on Welsh, Gary. That's a little unusual given the roles he's been playing recently.
It is. Maybe they were anticipating that Adelaide would do a bit to make sure that he was manned up. So he's got a big job.
There is Rutten and Thompson. Nathan Thompson's been in very good touch.
A couple of big boys there.
Absolutely. And Rutten, some say, en route to All-Australian selection as a fullback.
Pratt on Rashudo.
We're ready to go at the Telstra Dome on a Sunday afternoon. Good bounce. Petrie high. Tyson Edwards gets his hands on it early. Stumbles out to Jess Sinclair. Was he taken high? No free. He's got one now. Roos away. Harris inside the 50. Thompson. That's a good result. After Sinclair won a hard ball and a hard free kick in the centre. Advantage paid, and the man I just mentioned, Nathan Thompson, ends up with the footy, and he has been in pristine form in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Little unlucky, Rutten there. The advantage, I think, might have caught him on the hop, just on the back pedal.
This for goal number 42 of the season for the former Hawk. The kick on the way, and I reckon it's there. Great start for the Kangaroos.
A beautiful start here at the Dome on this Sunday afternoon against the Crows. Umpires today, Dean Margett, Simon Meredith and Darren Goldsmith. In the middle, Petrie worked it down, the same man. 2 clearances. He got 9 last week, already 2 now. Hale playing that half-forward role and doing a nice job there. Bock back into the side.
Interestingly, both McLeod and Goodwin are in defence. Rawlings has gone to McLeod and Ferrito to Goodwin.
Harvey to Thompson, a little bit too much on it. Shirley, he'll have a big day today, as he always does, taking one of the key midfielders. Tawney had a bit of a fitness test prior to the game here today, so he must have been in some doubt or feeling a little tight perhaps before the game. Shirley now, lovely ball. Perry presents up nicely into Rashudo, will be told to play on. Did well to fend off Harris. Tawney at half back decides to change the direction of their attack. Sinclair, the former Docker, tapped it cleverly. Ferrito, 3 come at him. Unfortunately for the Crows, no one stayed with Sinclair. A beautiful ball. Hale's got to get it done in the air. Couldn't. Well done in the end by Rutten to spoil the party. Jones, unorthodox, but nevertheless locking it inside 50 momentarily.
Hudson to Mattner's a good kick. This is a good footballer. Skillful left footer. Makes the game look easy, as many players who kick with that foot do. Thompson. Wells to close him down. Back to Mattner. Inside the 50 for the first time. The Crows in the hands from Perry. Very good.
Presented up a couple of times now very well on Lee Brown.
Waiting for someone to come at him. Burton does now. High ball. 2-on-1 situation here. Big fist from Petrie. Archer comes hard at the footy as always. Beautiful control, and the handball was fantastic to Pratt. He dumps it to centre half forward. Hale's got a couple to beat. And that's well done from Hudson, having a fine season.
Good one. Back from the groin. Edwards. Rashudo through the middle. Looks good, the build-up. Henschel's got one wide if he wants. Ignores it. Forced to kick. Lots of roos around this one. Jones. Bit of poise. This man here, every week in the back pocket, as cool as you like. Harvey got speed in those little legs. Through the corridor. Kick not so good. Ferrito. Bang! Rashudo came through with a hip and shoulder. It was good. The tap on Harvey followed up his good work. Harris, fast hands, brilliant. Ferrito, not so good. Wells onto the ground. Spent about a minute on the bench. His dacks were fairly ripped off. And now the Crows in defence. Frantic pace we've got so far, JB, in the opening parts.
It's a hot Sharon. The Crows are working hard in the back half of the ground. Tyson Edwards. Look at the defensive pressure from Wells. That was well done. Edwards, as always, cool. And the Crows through the middle here. Riley's got it. They can go forward again. That's a good kick. Perry ends up on the end of it.
It's a 13 Perry mark, and well, both teams have got numbers behind the footy. And it's disappointing. Lee Brown perhaps has just got to say, well, I've got some support. I've got extra players back. I've just got to play up in front of Ian Perry.
Brent Riley's delivery by foot is absolutely sensational.
First real crack at the big sticks here for the Crows. Perry's kick's fantastic. One apiece.
Goal set up by Brent Riley.
Yes, and Brown's been moved off. Perry's gone to McGregor.
Get your thoughts in a minute, Gary, of Hale at centre-half forward. Not great in the air. So what are they looking for? A contest? Answer in a moment. Wells wide to Brady Rawlings, and this might be the opportune time, Gary. Hale at centre-half forward.
Well, I think a little harsh on him, Brian.
Okay.
I think in recent times he's really contested well. He's been able to kick goals. But a contest is paramount, absolutely.
Normally, normal circumstances, I'd take you on, Gary, but we'll push along here.
Not today, Brian.
Hale. Hudson. Rashudo. A trendy beard, facial hair happening at the moment.
Nothing
Thompson.
trendy about that.
What a revelation this man has been. One of the main reasons the Crows have risen up the ladder. Pratt under pressure. Petrie had to deliver wide. Sinclair. Sat under it, Jones under the pump, banged over. Welsh, great effort, beautiful pressure. Burton in the tackle. Edwards slides the handball sideways. Jones goes in to make amends, and we'll tie this one up. There'll be no free kick out of this, I don't think. Umpire Goldschmidt lets it go unbelievably, and Sinclair has done the job.
I think he was close to blowing the whistle as Wells will stream through the centre. The afterburners as he stretches away from McGregor, and then inside the 50. Harvey, free kick surely.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I reckon nearly every player on the ground had stopped back in Adelaide's forward 50, and Darren Goldsmith just looked at it and said, no, I won't let squeezes out. No doubt about the free kick. Jason Tawney was turned around and, in a bit of desperation, just grabbed at Brent Harvey. Quick movement through the middle of the ground. Daniel Wells, as you said, Brian, had come on inside a minute. Look at him. He's out there at the moment. There's not one player anywhere near him. Someone's got to take some responsibility for him.
Brent Harvey's kicked 1-5 from set shots this year. So there'll be a degree of nervousness, Brian, as he gets ready to just see if he can work this through.
I'd imagine there would be.
Thank you, Brian. Premiership player back in 1999. Kick on the way. He likes it. Good start to this game. Harvey's got his first.
This game so far has been very high indeed. The skill level is great. Two teams wanting to make a difference this year. One in particular in second position, Adelaide. Shirley out of the middle towards half forward over the head of Perry. McGregor, the chase. It's covered by Brown. Through come Welsh. Did well. Strong over the ball. Edwards lines up under pressure. Snuck it in, I think. It's there. Adelaide have got their second.
Long time as the ball in the centre. 2 goals apiece, and there is Tyson Edwards wrapped up by a couple of Kangaroos, and we'll do the bounce again.
Yeah, listen up, James. Listen up to what's being said. He's a very good player and has been for a long time.
Little too Melbourne-centric you as a rule, Gary, and you cast your eye around the country. There is the bench for Adelaide.
That's enough.
As that kick inched forward. This man's had a fine season. Shannon Grant back to make peace. Around the body, Sinclair. Good focus on the footy.
Good. He's lined up on the wing on Brett Burton and really working hard all over the ground. He's lined up on the other side, but covering plenty of ground.
Jess Sinclair, too far out, you'd suggest. Not sure what to do. He's got a couple of big fellas in the square.
Plenty of room on the fat side.
Nathan Thompson leads for him now, and that's where it goes, but Tawney read it beautifully. Came in and took the mark.
And out on this fat side of the ground sees Shirley awaiting the arrival. Burton tries to straighten, didn't want to kick it on the non-preferred left. In the end, forced to. It was well done by Petrie. Corralled nicely and forced the turnover in the end. Got him on his non-preferred. Brown and Simpson combined now. Taste of the stuff you'll get today, Gary, as the ball out wide.
Great pick-up, Brian.
Watt looking for Hale on the ground. Wouldn't have thought it would have been orthodox, but he made it look great. Hale for Rito's delivery, not great. Thompson one-on-one here, takes on Rutten. And Rutten equal to the task, forcing the turnover.
Nice pick-up by Hale there, Brian. He belies his size with his mobility.
Tawney, the former Tiger. And Burton has the footy. Numbers here for the Adelaide Crows. Nathan Bassett to Simon Goodwin. The Rolls-Royce midfielder goes long to a 2-on-1 situation. Big fist away from McGregor. This man, so much excitement in the Wells package. Just walks around a couple and goes with a beautiful kick to the outer side. Rawlings. Makepeace further afield. Some hard running from him. Thompson involved as well. Makepeace picks it up. The kick, not his absolute best. Numbers all around the footy. Harding high. No one home for the Kangaroos. And Hudson's back there, does a good job for the Crows.
Back pocket for the Crows. Goodwin looking wide and
He's
gets it again.
Trying really hard to get onto Brent Harvey, Simon Goodwin at the moment.
His fourth possession already in the game. Hudson creeps up from the pocket. Umpire said, OK, that's all right. Legal, play on. Riley, clever tap it was because he was under a bit of pressure oncoming. Harris, Petrie wants to take them on. Now Harris got it all to do, did it well. Colbert, fantastic game last week from Lee Colbert. Just a very, very accomplished AFL professional. Watt, look at the fast hands, set up the triangle and zing it around like no other. Sainsbury ends up with the ball.
They can't kick because Adelaide had numbers down the line. That's why they zinged it around like they did. The Crows had one or two players back.
Sainsbury goes looking for Harding. That's well done. Nathan Bassett.
Ooh.
Handball inboard. Got it to Riley. Now Dowdy. And he is run down. Colbert. And the turnaround to Sainsbury. Inside the forward 50. Shannon Grant. Overhead. Did it brilliantly.
He's got his hands full down there, Jason Tawney. If it's Brent Harvey or Shannon Grant. Grant, who's had a really good year, I reckon. That's probably trying to do a bit too much in the middle of the ground, and the turnover, the result here. He's a classy player, Grant. He sets up goals as well as kicks them. He was deadly early in the year, but I think he's the #1 assist player in the competition, Shannon Grant. So there's a big impact forward to the centre.
Has kicked 26 goals in 16 games, which is good going as an impact small forward. And that's what confronts him. Roof shut, conditions perfect, and that's got a bit of a bend to it. Missed it away to the right. The first imperfection on the scoreboard. The Roos by a point. We'll go down to Chris Jones.
A triple change for the Adelaide Crows. Hudson, Riley and Rashudo all came off.
Harris off the ground, Gary. I think he's the 4th most benched player in the competition for the Roos. Is that because they don't see him having the tank necessary in the midfield or what?
Yeah, exactly. Work rate. They want him up near capacity.
Right, all the time. Gary just on the ball here, up in the box.
Jeez.
Look at this loose one in the middle. Head over at Edwards in his 11th season of football. And playing some great stuff. Matner. Thompson just bullocks the ball forward. Perry's flat out on this one. Players keeping their feet here today. No worries about the footing. Kick forward. Henschel and Colbert happy to see the white line.
Don't compliment me too much, Brian. I start to worry. Ian Perry is the forward that's causing the most of the problems. They made the move.
There is Simpson Harris and Sav Rocker there on the bench.
They've got Watt to go over to Ian Perry after he cleaned up Lee Brown in the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Throw in Michael Stevens there as well. Didn't have a lot of game time last weekend, Michael Stevens. Wells is free at centre-half forward at the moment. If the Roos get it out, they're away, but they're not, because all the Adelaide Crows players had pushed up, Gary. Edwards got hold of it, turned it over the shoulder, and made them pay.
Adelaide now have the lead. Petrie high. Well done, Biglands. Absolutely magnificent to Thompson. Long ball forward. Roos defence under all sorts of pressure. Archer goes to ground. Tries to pick up the footy. Still can't get his hands on it. Look at the Norm Smith medalist go. Here's Dowdy. Numbers here for the Crows. The snap on goal is good.
Crows, 2 of those to Edwards, and then Welsh with that little snap. 8.5 remaining in the first quarter. What a takeaway from Adelaide in the middle, that last one. And again, it's on here. Biglan's doing a superb job. Dowdy might earn himself a free here. Perhaps could have. Goldspink says no. Neutral ball.
Jumping over the top of Petrie, isn't he? And his follow-up was fantastic as well. Andrew McLeod yet to have a touch. Started in defence, moving up the ball now. Rawlings his opponent.
Biglan's with some verbal instructions there for his teammates. In he goes, wins the hard one. Crows look great in that contest. In the middle there at the moment. Thompson follows down from the midfield. Here's McLeod through traffic. Edwards the danger man. Hands off to Shirley. Can run to the open. 4 in a row, Crows.
Some worry now for the Kangaroos. They've got to hit a steam up, Adelaide, and they've done it without massive contributions from some of their big superstar players in Rashuda and McLeod. If they were to get busy to complement the likes of Shirley and Thompson and Tyson Edwards, and this might be very, very dangerous. They're very good at stop plays. They get behind the footy and just charge onto it, and I guess that's confidence in the big man, Rhett Biglands, at the moment to get his hands on it.
4 goals in a row to a red-hot Adelaide Crows outfit. And they are at the moment giving it to a very good side in the Kangaroos. Don't work your way to second place on the ladder without having some class about your act. And this Adelaide team slipped under a few radars around the joint, but they are playing very, very well.
One of the worrying matchups for the Kangaroos is Daniel Pratt at the moment on Tyson Edwards at half back and half forward. That's just not working.
Hale now into the centre, but Bigland still having his own way with the ruck contest. This is Hale. Edges it forward to Rawlings. High ball inside 50. Thompson's got about 4 to beat. Didn't actually extend the arms. Shannon Grant at the back. Tight angle kick on goal is there. That is fantastic.
By a Shannon Grant beauty from the boundary. Contest in the middle. You saw Hale go down. He's hurt his wrist, I think. Smother was brilliant from Harvey. Hale's in trouble in the middle. He's waving for the doctor right now. He is in big trouble. He'll come straight from the ground. Appears to be a snap finger or arm problem. Bassett. Goodwin. Thompson stands tall, gives the handball. Burton's away. He's got the dislocated finger, Hale. You're trying to pull it back now. In front, Brown knocks to the boundary line. And we'll just have a look at this now. Hale in some
back in
pain there. They've whacked it back in. Dr. Con doing a beautiful job down there.
Now, we take this for granted. Tyson Edwards got a new opponent. Pratt's had to come off the ground.
There it is, hitting on the tip of the finger.
We just shrugged this off, but they have just yanked that back into place, and now he can test the ruck.
Wouldn't happen in cricket, I wouldn't have thought.
No, right over the top. No, the finger actually breaks in 2 in cricket, Brian. The difference is Simpson's kick out in the full.
Far more rugged game. Cricket. Fearsome characters.
Simon Goodwin with the ball in hand. He will go inboard. Low ball. Dangerous kick. Just picked that off comfortably. Roos stream back. Long ball forward needed. Jones, the marking player down there, fist away. Jones goes back and gets it again, tries the kick over the top of his head. The bicycle soccer job, and he'll get another goal.
Tell me that's not goal of the year.
4 cracks at it, Jones, and he eventually steered it through.
Couple of goals in a row for the Roos has just set this one alight. We are witnessing a very high-quality contest here at the moment. Out of the middle, they go again. Harding bangs it forward. Jones flew. Got the last miracle goal. Tackles Goodwin. Goes to ground. Thompson went without it. Tawney head over it. No questions asked out here at the moment. Burrito sees Jones on his non-preferred right. Thompson picked up the half volley, looking for the support. Couldn't find it. Stevens wrapped up in the tackle, dispossessed. Umpire lets it go. We may end up seeing a loose ball here. Harris, Harding from the boundary line, stands, delivers, and has missed to the right-hand side. A moment to catch our breath. 4-2-26 to Adelaide, 5 straight 30.
Yeah, it's a good contest, no doubt about it. Both sides really going at it. Out of the middle, the Kangaroos are doing very well, despite Bigland's work in the centre. They lead 5-2 in centre clearances.
Andrew McLeod to bring the ball back in, and he's done it very well. Matner into the centre. Shirley's got it. And there is Big Red Biglands. Down the outer side, inside the 50, looking for McGregor. The kick was very good. McGregor, the handball off. Henschel can load it up. The shot from the blonde-haired boy has wandered across the face of goal, and there's the first behind on the board for Adelaide.
The Crows look like they may have even targeted Lee Brown. The player that goes to him really leaning hard, and Brown struggling to go with the first of all. Struggled to go with Perry, now struggling to go with McGregor on a lead.
Umpires in this game so far, Gary, hardly blow on the whistle. Just 2 free kicks. It's been free-flowing and well adjudicated. Grant at half-back with just under 5 remaining in the first. And it is the Crows by 5 points. Hale diving low, just had that dislocated finger pulled back in a moment ago. You can go Sinclair short over the top. That's where he'll go, right in front of the interchange bench here at the Dome. And now Sinclair wants to get it over to the city side. Archer was the connection point for that. And now Grant, the conduit, to send it further. Rocker attacks it. Riley, I like him. Future leader of the club, I believe. Goodwin shoveled the ball sideways. Matner. Bock through traffic. High ball, Perry elevates, McGregor there as well. All the workhorses involved here for the Crows as they pile on the ball on their half-forward line, and we'll have a ball up.
So they're lined up, the Crummers there. The big jump for me and Perry was great, but there are 3 or 4 Adelaide Crow players just sitting there. The Crumb, front and square.
Is it about Riley that you like, Brian?
He's just a lovely, skilled footballer, gets the hard ball. A very, very good team man.
Simpson out wide.
And the right age to take over the captaincy in a couple of years.
Makepeace. Long kick forward, drop ball from Goodwin. It's a very coveted position, the captain of the Adelaide Crows. They had Chris McDermott early, who was fantastic. They've got Mark Prosciutto now, arguably the best captain in the comp. All right, the bar was lowered a little with Bickley in the middle, but it is a position that you don't take lightly, Brian.
Thompson's another one. Look, these guys will be at the right age in a couple of years when Prosciutto steps aside.
Worked forward. Simpson, the captain of the Kangaroos, gets it to a hot spot. Harvey dropped it. Harding, I should say, goes back and gets it. However, here's Jones. Kicked a great goal earlier. Great defensive pressure, though, from Adelaide. And Burt comes away with the footy. Sits it out in front of Tawney, who has taken the ground hard. And will take a free kick at half-back.
I'd be surprised if Riley ends up the captain coach after that.
I'll just get on with it. It's just a natural factor that'll transpire at some stage, Gary. Brown keeps going the way he is and progressing. Welsh head over the hard ball again in this quarter, as he's done all quarter so far. 2.5 remaining in the first, and a 5-point advantage here for the Adelaide Crows. Been a wonderful quarter of football, and there is the possession time.
Well down on the season average, isn't it? So the Kangaroos would be happy that they've denied the Crows a bit of the footy.
Danger here for the Roos, right in front of the Crows' goal mouth. Archer went without it. Simpson there to tidy it up. Stevens, Archer. Good to ball, advanced it, but look at the wall they set up.
9 possessions he's had, now 10. Loose across half-back, can't do it. He's too good a player.
James Brayshaw's favourite player he is. Goodwin just absolutely likes the way he goes about his work.
I hope you don't want to be captain.
Grant just positioned. Let's not make a big thing out of something that was just a little small thing, Gary. Petrie out wide, as you tend to do. Rawlings got a poor bounce. Here's the man, Van Berlo. Ball to Biglands, and he marks outside 50. Lets it rip from beyond the arc and across the face. Now, which way will it bounce? Back towards play. And Van Berlo on for his first run. I believe training to be a nuclear scientist. Is that right, JB? Or a rocket scientist or a wave motion expert or something of that nature?
He'd be very comfortable in this box if that was his intellectual capacity as Makepeace about to bring the footy back into play.
Nathan Thompson's come off, boys, for a spell. Sav Rocker gone to the goal square.
Gary, would the worry for the Kangaroos be that they've deprived Adelaide of the footy, and yet Adelaide is still in front?
Yes, that would be some concern.
Archer goes in search of Harris. Burton there as well, and the footy over the boundary line.
Mere contempt, that question in answer from Gary.
No, it's a good point made. They've had not as much of the footy, though. That's the other thing that you've got to take into account. The Adelaide Crows have had more of the ball.
Boundary throw in. Went forward by Simpson. Stevens there as well as Rashudo, and we'll have the boundary throw in done again. Nathan Thompson sits it out.
Pratt and Barry Prendergast, one of the assistant coaches in front there.
That's interference surely to Biglands. He'll take a free. Advantage paid. Edwards comes away with the footy. Welsh and Archer. Welsh has got him gun. That's a marker, a free kick, doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what, Tyson Edwards is just... he's had a hand in most things that have gone forward. This is where Scotty Welsh needs to get the footy on Glenn Archer out on the lead. Some leg speed. Body to body, you'd be backing Archer, you'd reckon, at this stage? If he gets on his bike, he's a fair chance to get on the end of it.
Former North Melbourne Premiership player and teammate of Glenn Archer's, now doing a great job at the goal face for the Crows. This to extend their lead. From the set shot, low and straight. Welsh has got his second.
That one had hurt. Very handy for Adelaide late in the quarter. They got away to that 5-2 lead. They were just pegged back a bit. Kangaroos enjoying a bit of the footy. And then to get it one inside a minute to quarter time is a beautiful little bonus. Interesting play Archer on Welsh down there. Just wonder whether he'll be there for the whole game, but 2 goals now to Scotty Welsh.
Just a half a minute remaining in the first quarter, and the Adelaide Crows a nice little buffer of 12 points. Beautiful bounce in the middle. Allows Biglands to do his work, as he's done very well in this first quarter. Ridden into the ground there, Dowdy. Nothing on from the umpires, fair enough. And we'll see it put up in the air again, and perhaps an opportunity here for one last score. Biglands, palm down was effective to Van Berlo. Stripped by the Roos, they go forward. Sainsbury, Hart doing well. Kept it alive. Corey Jones through. Time will get them, I think. Will. A wonderful quarter of football we have just experienced. Crowd here happy with what they have seen so far. That man there doing the job down back on Welsh at the moment and trying to get the job done. And Tyson Edwards, well, he kicked 2 goals in the quarter, and he was quite brilliant with his use of the ball as well. Adelaide in control at the moment by 12 points at quarter time and doing it nicely. 6-2-38 to the Kangas, 4-2-26.
And it was a very good quarter of football, as you'd expect from 2 teams that sit comfortably inside the top 8. Adelaide Crows lead by 12 points. Tyson Edwards and Scotty Welsh, the multiple goal scorers on the ground. Let's have a look at some of these match stats, boys. The clearances are interesting in favour of the Kangaroos. Simpson's had 5 of those. Harris has had 3. And for the Adelaide Crows, Edwards and Rashudo 2 apiece. And the marks, the other one. The Adelaide Crows certainly maintaining possession in and around the ground, and up forward they've looked pretty dangerous with Perry and Gregor and Welsh all getting amongst it. Let's go down to the boundary where we find Chris Jones.
Well, Gary, Nathan Thompson came off late in that turn, but I just see him now. He's back out on the ground, so no dramas there. Jason Tawney from the Adelaide Crows was bleeding from the nose. The Docs have patched that up. 19 interchanges in the first quarter, which is quite amazing. 11 from the Kangaroos and 8 from the Adelaide Crows. Dean Laidley, he was animated at that quarter-time break. And Neil Craig, he was interesting too, telling them that he wants them to get into space and have plenty of time and run as much as they can. But here's Dean Laidley really laying down the law to his team.
Good on you, Jonesy. There's Scotty Welsh with 2 goals. Wondered why Glenn Archer might be down there. Did a bit of homework. He kept into just the 2 kicks in that earlier encounter in round 6.
Yeah, the 10-point margin game you're referring to, Gary. That
absolutely. The one that Dean Laidley suggested that Adelaide had not much more in the tank.
We start the second term. Adelaide on top by 2 goals and looking good. Handball wide from Risciuto. Honours the run of Burton. Makepeace out there with him. Taken to ground hard. Bassett and Sinclair. Sinclair helps Freddie into the fence. We'll have a boundary throw in on the outer side. Nice, open, flowing game of football. 10 goals kicked in the first term, and if we maintain that for the full 4 quarters, it'll be worth the price of a ticket. There's a free kick picked out of that. It's going to go to Hale.
be a 40-goal game, JB.
That's exactly what you want, Brian, at the football.
Let's get that rocket science bloke up here right now.
Want goals kicked. Entertainment. Long ball forward from Hale. 2-on-1. There's my man, Simon Goodwin.
They've got to put some work into him, James. He had 10 possessions in the first quarter. Essentially, as a loose man across half-back.
What sort of work, Gary? Do we...
Opponent would be a start, I reckon.
All right. Advantage paid here for the Roos. Watt just drove it inside 50 without a lot of thought. And Bock, who unluckily went out of the side last week when they were playing the Bulldogs, Gary. They didn't have a tall forward line, the Bulldogs, and there was really no position for this man, so he was just pushed aside, but straight back in this week. And that's the sort of versatility, I guess, and depth that the Crows have got at their disposal.
Martin Matten on the job with Daniel Wells. Brody Rawlings, Andrew McLeod's only touched the footy once, hasn't been a factor at all. Look out if he starts to get busy.
Hale there for the Roos, and the big man Hudson over the top. Thompson just through traffic, stripped to the ball. Jones will get the advantage here, or the free will come back, and I think it'll come back. The advantage initially paid. The umpire realised that was none for Jones, and Harvey looks like, or Jones will take the free here.
Well, he had opportunity. What did they saying then? He didn't dispose of it correctly. Didn't get his fist to the footy.
Well, yeah, and the pressure there, and that was why the advantage wasn't paid.
I'm not sure. I'm a bit dubious on the free kick, but the pressure was great. Initially, Brent Harvey was able to get across and put the spoil on Bock to keep the ball in their forward 50, and this is the result.
Look at Jones not wanting to go around the angle. It's annoying when they do keep pointing to come around further. And now Jones is walking in, and so Goldsbank will send him another metre to the right. Look at this.
Oh,
it's player take on umpire here, and you do get annoyed when they get so pedantic about a half a metre. Now he's going up to talk to Goldsbank.
Moving his spot, Brian.
He is.
I watched Corey Jones pre-game practicing from this very shot. I reckon he had 20 shots and was almost perfect.
And they just straight, Gary, or a little bit of left to right about it. How did it work?
They went right through the goals, Brian. That would be perfect.
All right. Let's have a look at this one from Corey Jones. Already got a goal. And this one just across the face for the minor score, Gary. So I guess
that's what happens with the pressure of footy, Brian.
If you practice too often, you eventually kick yourself out of the game.
I think Gary just talked him out of it.
No, that's what happens when there's absolutely something riding on it, James.
Cloud to bring the ball back in. Oh. Dangerous kick, this one. Thompson comes across the front. Probably should have taken the mark. Got the left foot kick to it. Jones goes back. Goodwin again. A high-quality act. Gets the kick out wide to Rutten. Long ball forward from him. Here's Brian's man, Riley. Fist away. Nicely done by Sinclair. Goes to Petrie. Gets to him on the bounce. Takes on a couple to spit through. Look at the mobility of the big man. Pumps it inside the 50. Bassett was really good. Read the play brilliantly well. And come across the front of Shannon Grant nicely. And then dumped it down the line to Burton.
Gee, it's a good effort from Nathan Bassett.
Got to like him, don't you?
Great closing speed there. Courage.
One of the leaders in the quiet group there at Adelaide, Gary, just gets the job done from meeting to meeting and encourages his players to do better. Rashudo, McLeod, forward, Perry, Archer there, got him tied. Petrie, Rawlings, and now Brown and Archer combine.
Ooh.
Archer out the Dockland side of the ground. Harvey's got to work here. He's pursued by Matner, but got rid of it to Wells. The 1-2 on offer for Harvey, and the drilling ball to Ferrito is lovely. Beyond where he can go. Grant on the lead has marked and will line up for his second goal.
Well, the difference there is that Ferrito actually played or stood near Simon Goodwin and then came at the footy and presented as a target. So rather than kicking over his head and Goodwin just dropping back in the hole, taking mark after mark and racking up possessions, he was made to be accountable and couldn't go with him or didn't go with him. And then Shannon Grant, a committed league with Jason Tawney, who's just battled it a little bit this afternoon.
Look at the accuracy here, Gary, just 13% chance from this position. Shannon Grant, he's kicked 1-1 today.
Didn't see him warm up, Brian.
With his 6 possessions, and you wouldn't be putting money on him with that stat staring you in the face, Gary, and that is why. Up high, punch back into play, and eventually the rush behind. So the Kangaroos getting a bit of possession time early in this second quarter.
A couple of opportunities gone missing, haven't they, for the Roos?
McLeod steers it into Rutten. And ball sideways to Bock.
They've been untidy out of here.
High to the outer side. Again, lots of numbers here for the Roos. Makepeace slides in and takes the marks. Got some options in the centre of the ground. Boomer Harvey picks it up. Handball off to Simpson. Wider still to Pratt. Too far out to score. Goes to Shannon Grant. You reckon he was on a tight angle before?
Suggest he might pass it, James.
Closed down. Forward 50 options now, Adelaide.
5-0 inside 50s for this second quarter. So all the attacking here without really doing any damage on the scoreboard.
He kicks the ball left to right, and that's part of the problem from this side of the ground, isn't it, for him?
Shannon Grant going to just square the ball with a real copter. Mountainous numbers here for Adelaide in defence. Henschel goes to ground. McLeod sits over the top of the footy. The umpire lets it go. Now he says, give it to me.
McLeod got him in the scissor hold with the legs there.
A horrible kick, wasn't it? Big job for Michael Ferrito there on Simon Goodwin.
Appears to have lost a bit of confidence with his kicking, Shannon Grant, because I've never known that that's the downfall of his game as Hudson sees it through. High quality game on off here. No goals kicked in this second quarter, and we've had nearly 7 minutes of play already. To come back and do it again, McLeod, the goal umpire, was still waving the flag.
Drew Petrie having a bit of an influence in this quarter, struggling to get it inside their forward 50, the Crows, and he's been loose across half back a few times.
You think about McLeod playing the role that he has this year, Gary?
Well, that's something that Neil Craig seems pretty content to do.
New ideas, man, that he is.
Well, you can't argue with their results, Brian. They've been fantastic.
Burton looking to take Brown on the mark and did it effectively. Now takes Makepeace. Go on, take one more. Didn't want to. Walsh was on offer. Missed him.
Did well. Archer just eased him under the footy knowing he had support.
Colbert. Thompson will come hard at this footy. Well done. Made a contest of it. Harvey inboard to Wells. Raking handball to Harris. This is Pratt. Can have a bounce. Can load it up, or he can look to dump it off. I'm not sure about that option. High Nathan Bassett. Numbers here again with the Adelaide defence. Bock with some composure. Well done. And Henschel can bring it away. Handball to the champ, Rashudo. Over the top. Edwards back to Rashudo. Free kick push. Tyson Edwards, who kicked a couple of first quarter goals, gets the footy.
Well, Petrie again in the goal square.
This is Shirley. Wide to Matner. Dangerous player to give space to. Left foot ball. He's going to get the journey, but it misses away to the right and the behind.
And Jason Tawney was sitting out there in some space on his own for quite some time. Just weren't able to get it to him. First inside 50 for the Crows. Second inside 50 for the second quarter.
In nearly 9 minutes of play. 10-point advantage here with the Adelaide Crows. Makepeace with the job of having to find a target Decides to play on, and out wide he looks for the skipper and Simpson, who's going to have to attack it. Matner did well in front to work the ball to the neutral territory of the boundary line.
A big, have a look at that possession time right there, and the Kangaroos have got no goals to show for it, so Adelaide would have to be happy with that.
That's in this quarter, the second. Over the back, nice palm down there. Simpson, Sinclair combining. Simpson on the left, goes out wide. Lee Brown snuck down from half back and wants to run with it. What's on offer in the midfield? Sinclair, normally good by foot, didn't even look. Back through the midfield, went wide to Brown. He was committed to that, and now Brown with a chiseling ball that's not effective.
McLeod kicks it up for grabs. Excellent mark from Henschel. Turns around and sees Thompson available. They've just got a look about him, the Adelaide Crows.
Petrie, again, sorry, James, just goes and plops himself in front of Scotty Welsh, so they can't go long quickly because they're outnumbered.
Thompson called to go. Does eventually by hand. Perry will concede back to Bassett. Gets to him on the bounce. He steers the low ball to McGregor.
Well, there's a Hudson next to him, which is Petrie's man. He's got to somehow go and draw Petrie out of that dangerous spot.
McGregor's got to go now. He kicks it nice and high. Fist from the back, and the North defence can work out of half-back through Colbert. Jones back to Colbert. Over the top, Ferrito's got it.
Takes them on with a bit of an underground ball to Hale. The big fella's got it all to do, and he was magnificent what he had to do at ground level. Grant, Hale, take a bow. Sensational start for a bloke that's nearly 7 foot.
Been really impressive in the last 6 weeks, David Hale at centre-half forward. He's got some tricks. You would think that he's a ruckman more so than a half forward, but he's been able to really hold that position down, take some pressure off Nathan Thompson and allow Petrie to go into the middle of the ground.
The 200 centimetres of the man to be able to bend down twice and make it look fluent and clean. As Grant lines up for his second, it's not been a day he's liked in front of goal, but this one suits him better because he is a left to right kicker of the ball, and
got to get it, Brian.
He does. He's missed 2 opportunities in this quarter alone. In he comes. That looks better. That's where he likes them. Grant's got a couple.
Beat this. High performance NEC. No.
Tight game of footy. The Kangaroos kicking the first of a low-scoring second term after 10 goals were kicked in the first. Hudson down to Edwards. Jones makes Shirley earn it. Harvey involved as well, and there'll be another bounce. Been in good touch. The Roos, as you can see, this is beautifully done. This man can play footy. 45 and closing, and that's a goal. He is a supreme quality act. Tyson Edwards got 3.
Adelaide's way halfway through this second quarter. Another beautiful bounce by the umpires, getting that right in this game they are. It's been superb. Harvey, a second soccer attempt, sees it successful out wide. Burton wanting it. Umpire said no, so Stevens looking to get hold of it for the Roos. Quick thinking, Harvey, Grant. Sends it backwards. Stevens now, retreating. Smother was good. Riley just made it all happen there, was tidy. Did it well. Adelaide go forward because of it. McGregor in the contest. Thompson, the front and centre. Now Goodwin to set it. Sees Thompson's got a clear-up process to goal. On the way, Welsh will line up for his 3rd goal of the game.
Look at the carnage around on the ground. Have a look at the carnage. If we can get a shot, they are slowly picking themselves up off the ground. That was quite incredible. At the end of this, look at them. They were like 9 pins. Just dropped down everywhere they did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
He was the only one left standing.
It's a good mark.
Welsh for goal number 3 and to extend it to a 16-point margin. Comes in and has nailed it. He's got 3.
3 first half goals. And he's doing very well for the Adelaide Crows, who are doing well. Here comes Rashudo. claim from behind, but he got the kick away. Brown in best position was in the end an uncontested mark, gave it off to Archer. Now Simpson. Kick in dispute, almost Hudson. He's claimed in the Makepeace tackle. Just carried Makepeace around on his back for a while. Jones went to ground, hard on top of him. And there'll be a bounce.
Good work right there from both sides. This Rashudo was clear and going to goal. Just that one hand on the back makes a little bit of difference. There's the big possession winners. Not surprisingly, Simon Goodwin, Edwards and Burton up there, and Harvey for the Kangaroos.
Perry wins it down. Away from the stoppage again, Adelaide with the footy. Rashudo over the top to Thompson. This is the irrepressible running that they're famous for, the Adelaide Crows. Long ball forward. Burton. Then Stevens. Traps it. Sells a bit of candy. Can load it up, Burton. Long ball forward. Has it got the carry? It's bounced in open territory. I think it might have been touched through for a behind.
Scott Welsh should be just filthy on that, because he was in as much space as you're likely to see and was ignored. It was an Adelaide, but no, it was a touch before then.
So the Roos now with Stevens. 17 minutes gone, 8.5 left in this second quarter. Hale. Shirley was able to beat the big man in the air then. Sinclair and Simpson combining. Nice kick in the middle. Pratt, who's done a bit of damage in this game so far. Need to keep it alive. Harvey did well. Sock off the ground. Jones beyond his range, I think. Now he's got Hale in the pocket. Too late now. He's got Rocker on the lead, and he ignores that as well. And he goes even wider to the little man in Harvey, who I don't think will get the distance from here either. 55 metres. Looks to take Matner on. Got inside him. Kick on goal is a beauty. Matner knew what he had done wrong as soon as he was shown the ball, but he was committed.
There's the bench minus a couple, because a couple of the real silk midfielders are walking the lines.
The captain and the apparent heir apparent.
Look at that.
Have a look at that.
Something in that, Brian.
Blowing nice and hard too, as the footy's in the hands of Harris. Back to Makepeace. Maybe got to work on the tank, Brian, your man. As Pratt's got it at half back. Goes down the line looking for Thompson and gets it into his hands on the outer side. Big Nathan trying to find a hole, but the number's back with the Adelaide Crows, so he's got to sit it up high. Hale parked under it. The fist away. Hands were clean from Shirley, and a free kick's going to go Adelaide's way. It's not going to matter. Ben Hart, great to see him back and playing well. To Van Berlo. Now to Goodwin. To Tyson Edwards, who's got 3. Look at the kick from Edwards. Only ever going to favour Perry. Watt going back there hard as well. Lee Brown, dangerous handball. The boundary line, a good result for the Roos in the end.
Not sure why it didn't look long with Harris out there. They're under siege at the moment, the Roos. This Adelaide side are a polished outfit. As we said, the big guns getting heaps of the footy. 9 touches to Harvey, but 8 to Mark Rashudo for this quarter. Goodwin's up to 14. It's the reason that they are one of the flag fancies.
Roos have kept them honest on the scoreboard, though, Gary. Just 2 goals apiece in this second quarter. Here's Watt. And Sinclair has got to do it under enormous pressure. Watt over the line. Will it be deliberate? Umpire says no.
It does. It's only, what is it, 11 points. But it does feel like Adelaide have got a bit more up their sleeve at the moment. The contested mark situation is something that the Roos would be a little bit worried about. Rocker and Thompson haven't really been able to impose themselves.
Perry. Edwards, swift hands. Matner set it up. Dowdy around the body. Tough shot from there with that sort of spin, and Makepeace in the back pocket.
For a tiny little man, he gets a lot of the ball, Makepeace. Good kick there to Archer. He sees Colbert, the old firm combined.
Interesting that Neil Craig hasn't allowed either Colbert or Archer to be loose. They've had to have a man all day.
Low ball from Archer, not great percentage there. Harding taking the ground. Perry cast in the role of a midfielder, and he does it well. Gets it to Burton. Kick and a half from goal. Inboard looking for Henschel. We'll get to him on the bounce. Off to Edwards. Edwards has got Van Berlo. Closing him down, Wells did it well. And Archer's away. Long handball to Ferrito. Ducks back and tries to see a runner inboard. Eventually, he finds Sinclair. He runs himself into trouble, but goes to Shannon Grant, gets to him on the bounce, but he couldn't control the footy, and it's over the line.
Jason Tawney with a bit of cotton wool up the nose. He copped a whack in the first quarter, and thus some medical attention has stemmed the flow of claret. Hale and Bigland's here. Nil-all draw sees Grant win the takeaway. Makepeace, left footer, we know that. Smother by Van Berlo was very scientific. Burton, Hart, and the run by Bassett to finish it off. Inside to Perry, he's on his bike. Archer's with him, did well. Goldspink was right there, said no free. Some may have wanted chopping of the arms, but I'm not sure. And Arch and Perry just talking between themselves about the situation. 5 minutes remaining in the half. 2 goals apiece. Defensive 50. Roos. Harris. Ferrito. Now Colbert with a kick just to space. He had not much on offer and didn't get the boundary line that he'd hoped. Doughty.
We'll stop and assess. Kangaroos need to hold here.
They're pushing all their numbers back here. They don't want another goal against them late in the second quarter.
Red time. High ball forward. Watt comes back, but there's the man who for so long has done exactly that. Read the footy beautifully in the air and backed himself in the back line with hands.
Shannon Watt down at the moment.
Makepeace. Oh, in real strife. That's gone.
Look at that tackle from Nathan Bassett.
Stay of the week. And Nathan Bassett's got the ball.
They're 1 down, 2 in defence because Watt's still in the hands of the trainers. This is just great work.
Off to Burton. Van Berlo. Back to Bassett. Now Ben Hart.
Just winded, Gary.
The veteran. Low ball to Perry. Beautiful kick. Always been very good by foot, Ben Hart.
Very slow to cover for Shannon Watt. This is his man. Ian Perry was in the hands of the trainers for a good 30 or 40 seconds. The Kangaroos just, I think David Hale was making his way down there to try and cover, but you've got to try and get across and help each other out a bit quicker than that.
24 goals on the season for Ian Perry. Plays up the field a bit, but does this set shot thing well as a rule. That is very good.
Goes in double figures in Edwards, Walsh and Perry with that last goal. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half of footy. Crashing his way through there was Hale. Ball dispute at ground level. Harris working hard. Matner flubbed it wonderfully well. Got it to Hart.
Oh, great kick.
And Welsh the delivery, and that'll be knocking the arms or too high. It was a wonderful kick from Hart, and equal with the grab. The jukes were extended from Welsh.
Blood rule, Mark Rashudo coming off. Now that was a clash of heads, I reckon, in the centre of the ground with, might have been Daniel Harris, but might be time for Glenn Archer maybe just to be relieved of duties on Scott Welsh. Not only because Welsh is kicking goals, but because Archer's been so effective in other roles in the past month or so. And there's the Roo, he'll go up. No anaesthetic for Roo, they'll just
staple or two.
Punch a couple of nails into him and away he'll go.
Welsh lines up for his second of the quarter, 4th of the game. He's directly in front, right on the 50. Distance not a problem. That is a wonderful kick. You've kicked 4 today, young man, and you've been instrumental in the Crows' success so far.
The cut on Rashudo's head was a pretty serious one. He brought himself straight off and went straight down the race to get some stitches.
They got a split to the Bonds. 23 points. But also the flow of the game now starting to really go with Adelaide. Hale, Harris. Bit of a don't argue. Somehow got himself clear. And then the kick out wide for Rawlings. McLeod with him, the superstar McLeod, just controlled it brilliantly well. That's not great. Kick smothered. Harding picked it up. Shannon Grant can take the mark, and really, as far as the Kangaroos' afternoon's concerned, must go back and kick a goal.
Well, he's been the most dangerous forward really, for the Kangaroos. It's just that he hasn't had his kicking boot on, Shannon Grant.
Gary, this is his favourite spot here, though.
Yeah, exactly, Brian. You pointed that out so accurately today. You've been superb today. He draws it from left to right, as Brian told me. But the difference is that Kangaroos go out of the middle, they go wide before they go down the middle corridor. The use of the footy and the leg speed of Adelaide allows them to straighten up and attack the goal square.
That's right.
Let's have a look at the percentages, Brian, here, 57%.
AFL average from this position, I believe, is around 62 or 3, so not far off it, Gary.
How do you know that?
Close to being joined at the hip, these two. This is Shannon Grant from 35 out. There's a big kick on the afternoon, and he steered it through.
And 3/4 remain in the half. 17 points down the Rouge. Shannon Grant's kicked 3. Ball out of the middle. Not able to get on of it. Make peace. Here's Kenny on the bike to Welsh, and he'll line up for goal number 5.
Well, the move's got to be made now, surely.
Who do you move on to him, Gary?
Well, you've got to look at Shannon Watt. He got leg speed. He played on Mark Williams, who's a quick. I know it's a whole different scenario. The supply is so much different, but Arch is it's a bit cruel.
Second quarters this year, Crows have won 12 and lost just 3. They're going to win this one because Walsh is going to kick goal number 5.
It's good effort from Scott Welsh. Just a nice mix up forward for the Adelaide Crows. They got some big types with big bodies who will just get to every contest in Perry and McGregor. McGregor involved there, front position, and lovely left foot touch too, by the way. They're the sorts of kicks you love to push to as a leading forward. Scott Welsh goes back and drills his 5th.
Out comes the skipper. Had the crown patched up. Just a minute left, so he mightn't see any more game time in the first half. Ready to go after the long break. They look very good, Adelaide. This is where they look good. Out of the centre, Edwards, long ball forward. McGregor, who was brilliant earlier on. And winning the footy, Van Berlo. The snap, they've got another one. They are on fire at the Dome, the Adelaide Crows.
That's nice work from the young man. His first goal in AFL footy, and not a bad way to open your account, suggesting it won't be his last. That is just classic footy. There's nothing pretty or complicated about it. He's get it out of the middle, go to the contest, get it to the front. If you can't mark it, crumb it and kick the goal. So Van Berlo, Nathan, well done.
Gary just acknowledging the forwards, but the big man in the middle, Biglands, make no mistake about it, Gary. He is the man that is getting it done out of there. Sainsbury on this one, but look at them attack. Look at big Red Biglands. He's chased it to the forward 50 from the centre, and still going, the big man. The Crows can do no wrong here as Doughty sees the white line.
Yes, that's in a clearance situation, 8 apiece. So it's been pretty even, Brian.
In this particular quarter, though, Gary, he's been responsible directly for 3 goals.
His follow-up work's been great.
Just a contrary man today, Gary Lyon, as the ball thrown in. Entry to the front.
What's contrary? It's 8 each.
Riley gets the handball back. Hart's been sensational. Long ball forward. At the back, Hudson picked it up, spun out of a couple to Perry. Can they kick another one, Adelaide? He's missed away to the left. They just look irrepressible at the moment. They've got a 30-point lead, and the skipper pretty happy, I imagine, with what he's seeing. Not sure what he's doing with the facial fungus there, Roo, but his mob are up and about. And the Kangaroos, I imagine, need to get into the rooms and reassess, because they've been blown away in this second term by a very, very good outfit from Adelaide. 30-point half-time lead. Lots of winners all around the ground for the Crows.
Yeah, a lot to like about that half of football from the Adelaide Crows. They are the real deal. That man's had his colours lowered for one of the fewer times this year, Glenn Archer. But 30 points the margin here at the Telstra Dome in favour of the Adelaide Crows, 12-5 to 7-5. We've just witnessed the Adelaide Crows' best first half of the season, and they lead the Kangaroos by 5 goals. It was impressive and clinical, and they are a very good side, James Brayshaw.
Especially when they're playing against a good mob too. Welsh was fantastic. 5 goals and touched up one of the competition's best players in Glenn Archer. Tyson Edwards going to take a look at him in a second. He's a high-quality unit. Shannon Grant getting the job done for the Roos.
Like Ian Perry as a player, he might not be the most fashionable key forward going around, but you know what you're going to get from him, and he started this game in a blaze of glory in lots of ways for the Adelaide Crows. He was pitted against Lee Brown, and he presented up beautifully. Here's Brian's man, Brent Riley. That was a beautiful kick. And it's an ungainly kicking style, but it was pretty effective this afternoon.
Bit of yourself about him, Gary, Ian Perry. Not fashionable, but sort of gets the job done, and in front of the big sticks, he just absolutely very good with the set shot, but ranges up the ground. It's got good mobility, and then when it matters and when it really counts, he takes key contested marks and kicks very important goals. And like a lot of these Adelaide forwards, slips under the radar of a few, but he's a very, very good player.
This man, Scott Welsh here, great work from Glenn Archer initially, and he just couldn't get his hands on it, and some of the forward line pressure from Adelaide's been really impressive this afternoon. They all contributed, and Scotty Welsh put through his second for the quarter.
I tell you, some of the Kangaroo fans here, his hearts will be bleeding when they see how well Scotty Welsh is playing, given that he was one of their own not so long ago. That is well done. Mark and goal, and he kicked 5.
Tyson Edwards was once just a back pocket player, but he has developed now into a midfielder who can go forward and kick goals, and he's certainly done that this afternoon. He's kicked 3 and been, if not best on ground, very close to it.
What about this for a contested mark? 8 blokes in the air. They all ended up on the deck. One man ended up with the ball, and through it went.
Yes, and Glenn Archer's had the job on Scott Welsh. It's a bit much to ask, isn't it, to play on the red-hot forward when you're in the twilight of your career, but that's what's been asked of Glenn Archer. You know he'll try his hardest, but it might be time to move the most courageous player in the competition.
Welsh again, you'll see here, getting on the end of it. This is Van Berlo kicking a very nice goal, so you won't actually see Scotty Welsh getting on the end of it, Gary, but he's a good young player.
Big thrill for young Nathan Van Berlo kicking his first goal of what I'm sure will be a long AFL career. The Kangaroos, well, they are honest, but it just looks it right now anyway at half-time that Adelaide have got too many guns. They started beautifully. This was the first minute, the first clearance, and Nathan Thompson belted one through. But from this point forward, it's been a bit dry for the big man.
I think you made a good point. They will keep coming, the Kangaroos. They don't know any other way. He is a very, very good act. Daniel Wells probably needs to lift a little if his team are going to get back in it. Harvey, a very nice set shot goal.
Shannon Grant's been their most dangerous forward. He's worked really hard. He's got a big work rate, and he's presented up. And was also able to get onto this after Thompson allowed the ball to be spilled. He's got 3 goals in the first half.
Harry Lyon got very excited about this next goal. Just take a look at it.
Because you didn't.
Corey Jones thought about doing the cycle kick soccer style. There he goes. Didn't really connect with that. Bounced up, ended up with the footy, and the snap was there, Gary.
So good goal.
Very nice goal.
And there's just Marty Matner just bought the candy, and around went Brent Harvey, who's been the Kangaroos' best player in the first half.
Cloud's been good. Ben Hart, a rare error from him. And Harding was good here. Just to get the ball inside the forward 50. The Johnny on the spot there, Shannon Grant. Big kick this, just to keep the Roos in touch.
With 30 points, they kicked 4 out of 5 goals in red time, did the Adelaide Crows, to make it 30 points, which means they've got some work to do, the Kangaroos. Tyson Edwards mentioned there that he started as a back pocket player, but he's much, much more than that. And I guess when you got Rashudo and McLeod and Goodwin, he can get overlooked pretty quickly in this Adelaide lineup. But this man, Tyson Edwards, he's got footy people sitting up and taking notice.
Always had magnificent poise, both sides of the body. Seems to be very comfortable with the footy, makes the right choices. And when he gets in front of goal, you see the results. He's kicked 3, but his use of the ball has always been spot on. And you're right, a guy that's not recognised as much as he should be. This was fantastic. Running forward, You almost put your glasses down at that stage, Gary, because it was always going through.
Always nice to put a player into your forward line who's got a defensive mindset, and he works hard as well to keep the footy in there. That's why he's been so valuable. Brent Harvey is another player who has, I think, come on as a footballer. I reckon Dean Madeley's coached Brent Harvey pretty well. He didn't give him a free ride last year at all. He made him work really hard. Taught him some lessons about the defensive side of footy, and he's racked up 16 first-half touches, and he's a good player. He's better than that. He's a very good player.
Worth coming to the ground too to watch him when he hasn't got the ball and the work rate there. He's starting to put a lot of pressure on the ball carrier, tackling and running, and his ability to kick goals has always been very evident.
He's got a pretty illustrious career for a young man. There's plenty of footy still in Brent Harvey. 30 points to margin in favour of the Adelaide Crows. We'll take a break. Highlights of Sydney up against the West Coast Eagles up next. Another game going on right at the moment. It is up at the SCG, top of the table, West Coast taking on the Sydney Swans. Let's have a look at the first half highlights. Adelaide Crows doing it pretty comfortably. 30 points to margin, although they did bang on 4 goals in time on in that second quarter just to split the game open. The Kangaroos hanging in reasonably well until that late stage of the game. There's still hope in the eyes of the Roos supporters here, although they are up against a very polished unit in Adelaide. Let's go down to the boundary where we find Chris Jones.
Just the news on the Adelaide captain, Mark Rasciuto. He's had 2 stitches in his head. He'll be fine to keep going. 43 interchanges in the match so far is just unbelievable, really, so far. The busiest man at this ground has really been the interchange steward so far. We should also tell you the Kangaroos, they are yet to lose every quarter of a match so far this year, so expect them to fight back.
Yes, you would. It's inherent in the colours of the blue and white team, the shin boners. There's Glenn Archer. We suggested that perhaps he be relieved of the duties of Scott Welsh, and it does appear that he is either going forward or even into midfield, maybe forward alongside Shannon Grant to try and give them some potency up there, boys. A lot of work to do. They're capable, the Kangaroos.
Well, they will keep coming. It just does look that Adelaide have, at the moment, control of the game. They've got class acts all around the field, and they've got speed, and that is important in modern footy.
Interesting here, Michael Ferrito's the man that's now gone down to play on Scott Welsh as Jason Tawney sits on the interchange bench. Pretty rugged opening, I think. They've got to throw everything at it here, the Roos, try and get themselves back.
It's funny that this should be happening to Jason Tawney now when they've had all of the half-time break. Start of the second half. Crows by 30 points. What have the Kangaroos got in the tank? Bigland's in the middle has been instrumental in the latter parts of the first 2 quarters. Matner on his non-preferred side to Thompson. Pratt at the back in support, did well. Petrie, quick hands. Free kick may be paid, or is it out of bounds? It's out of bounds.
Just rejig the forward line. They got the big side boys, the big 2 men, Rocker and Thompson alongside each other in the square. Archer down there, Goodwin, his opponent, so he'll try and keep him honest. And it looks like Harding now with McLeod, so that's freed Brady Rawlings up to try and find some footy in the middle of the ground.
And the big 2 talls down there does work, Gary, as long as one of them is prepared to get on his bike and make sure they don't end up in the same area of the ground. Here comes Thompson, straight out the ball kicker, but Rasciuto read it beautifully.
That's how it doesn't work, because they both led. Brian was left no long option.
Perry with the open ball on the wing. Kicks it to a territory that allows Edwards to use his speed, but Rawlings able to gather the loose ball. Pratt drawing handball to Colbert over the top. Just looking for support along the ground. Watt, Colbert, there's the triangle set up that they so often use, and deliver the ball around Gary just to shake off any of those annoying defenders that are hanging about from time to time.
Edwards, that's a sign of how much of an impact he's had on this game. Let's have a look at the forward, the big 2 forwards there. He's now got Brady Rawlings as his opponent, but there's Thompson and Rocco with their opponents, Bock and Rutten.
Locked up ball here. Umpire Goldspink come in and bounce it again. Lots of work to do for the Kangaroos. They will try and be within 20 points at 3/4 time. If they're not, they're in trouble, I reckon. There's Goodwin, gets rid of Archer and controls the footy to Perry well. Centre half back. That's a nice kick. Thompson. Was he claimed high? Not going to matter because advantage should be paid. Hard to the dangerous McLeod. McLeod will go to Welsh. That is a beautiful kick.
The thing about Andrew McLeod now is he sees that he's got Lee Harding, who's not as experienced in playing defensive type footy as Brady Rawlings was. So Andrew McLeod, being the smart player, says, all right, I'm going to dictate to you where I end up going. I might be playing in the back line, but I'll wander off, and I know that you are going to come with me. And then Lee Harding's got to be right on the job here.
Scotty Welsh, 40 goals on the year, 5 already this afternoon, causing the Kangaroos real problems. This to make it a 6-goal margin. He's away to the right-hand side, and that's a behind.
Used to be a difficult part of the ground to kick goals from that one today.
For some reason, Pratt's come off, Stevens come on. Pratt found himself on Thompson, Scotty Thompson, and they've quickly made a change there.
Haven't seen anyone successful from that position today, in fact. Makepeace. Stevens flies, but the free kick will come back because there was no advantage in the kick, and Makepeace wanted it down ground, but it'll come back to him.
Why was it not down? Why was it not downfield?
Not sure. Chris Jones.
Just on Daniel Pratt, he came off with actually an injured left shoulder.
Sinclair. Chipping to Colbert. Umpire said wasn't 15, play on, so Colbert had to go. Matner worked hard. Welsh in there, put his head over the ball. Have a look at this. Welsh can come in and kick goal number 6.
Very early play on call from the officiating umpire, Gary.
Did he say that it wasn't long enough, or was it touched off the boot?
Not long enough, I think.
In the centre, Petrie gets it to Simpson. Tumbles it forward. This man's been good, Nathan Bassett. That's a very good tackle from Shannon Grant.
Free kick.
And he's earned himself a free for incorrect disposal.
So the two big fellas sort this out. Thompson's led, and they're both led.
Very little room inside the forward 50 for either of them. Shannon Grant holding onto the footy, waiting for something to unfold. Now he goes. Corey Jones caught behind.
Dangerous kick.
This is a dangerous kick now because lots of crows around the footy. Tyson Edwards gets a handball away. The Adelaide Footy Club have won the free kick. Rashudo wide to Perry. Perry to go long. This is Sinclair, one out. Thompson there as well. Dangerous footy this for North Melbourne. Thompson sticks his head over it. Well done. Sinclair extricates it out of there. Colbert over the top. Makepeace. And some relief for the Kangaroo defence.
Got Rawlings on. Finds him. In the middle is Simpson, but too slow to get rid of it. Dowdy comes in, tidies up to Edwards. They can set up another one. The Roo goes from 50. Big, long, barreling ball.
Oh, have a look at the margin. And that is an accurate reflection of where the game's at. Adelaide right in control. Biglan's again getting first hand on the footy. Bit of tunnel ball back to Tyson Edwards. Burton gets it going forward. Bounce too severe for Thompson. Colbert comes in, bangs his own player hard, and then goes the handball. Looking for Harris or the line. Harris was good. Kick to half forward. McLeod allowed the footy to land with Harding, but look at Biglan's. He is playing some sort of game. Back to McLeod. Rashudo getting involved. To half forward, McGregor. Beautiful kick. That is wonderful delivery. Not sure that McGregor held the mark in the end. Not paid. Petrie sucked it back in. He's gone.
Well, there it is again. The relentless pressure, the tackling. You can argue all you want, Drew. You might have to zip it, otherwise you'll get a 50, because this side are irrepressible. And there's certainly no mark. Let's see what happened here. Now, McGregor was in trouble at that stage. Then Petrie ends up. McGregor turtles on the back of him, and he gets the free. So just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But you got, look, what about the kick of Rashudo, who's got busy as well? He's having a very big afternoon.
Kenny McGregor Looks like the facial growth pattern extending down at West Lakes, Brian.
That's embryonic growth there.
Hudson got it. Risciuto got it. Not sure if it's a look we endorse in commentary box, but this man has had a big year in the forward half. And that looks straight. It's got to get the carry. Is it touched on the line? It may have been.
Gary, I want to ask you why the Roos haven't been able to create that loose man in defence. Normally it's Colbert that does a great job there, yet Adelaide have been able to do it. What have Adelaide done to stop the Roos getting the man back in the slot?
Well, they play really one-on-one footy, and you found that the loose man has essentially been up on the wing. They've tried to push Brent Harvey up from a forward line up to the wing, which then allowed Goodwin to push back.
So why don't other teams, when a man is getting a lot of the ball in defence without an opponent, do the same thing that Adelaide have done?
I asked that question myself many a time, Brian. It also helps when you've got such a talented side as Adelaide, where you can back your team to win more one-on-one possessions.
Committed to each other, aren't they?
They use the ball so very well.
Got 15 players that have played 15 or 16 games this year, and you'd think fatigue would be a worrying factor for a lot of those older players now, especially with the heavy training load they've had over the last few weeks, we believe. But I'm not. Look, you're expecting to see a few of those players tire at this part of the season, Gary, but they're not.
Well, McLeod plays deep in attacking defence, so he's not being run off his leg. Same with Hart. Risciuto comes off for a spell.
15 players have played 15 or 16 games out of a possible 17 this year for Adelaide. Watt. Low ball to Stevens and Sinclair sharing the ball at half-back.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're under the pump again. This is the third time this quarter that they've put them under direct pressure, almost resulting in an attempt on goal. Wells. Players been able to keep their feet here at the Dome today. The surface has been good for that purpose. Wells around the body with a nice ball. Some attention for Harvey. Again, Shirley just slaps him away, and Harvey able to go with a spiral that didn't quite work. It fell short off hands. Grant the worry. Bassett hovering over the top of it. Hart rushed through. So Adelaide will kick the last 4 goals straight and starting to take control of this game.
Some of the frustration coming out. Brent Harvey there just trying to barrel in a long torpedo because he just cannot find a leading target. The defenders have been supreme for Adelaide today.
McLeod saw him running with Wells just a moment ago. Wouldn't you love to see that match up for a whole afternoon? Long ball forward from McLeod. Big climb from Biglands. Risciuto, resembling the Wallabies forward pack from last night. Tries to barge his way through and can't.
The Wallaby forward pack could have done with Risciuto last night.
Fair point you make, Gary.
Going down to South Africa, but that was a set play. Kick it long, get a contest, get Risciuto and a couple of others at the fall of the ball.
Must kick a goal or a couple of them, the Kangaroos, and stop the bleeding here. Wells goes without it. From these stoppage situations, Adelaide have been so good. Shirley's work rate terrific. Sinclair went without it. Burton gets it out of there. Stops and gets the handball to Henschel. Matner now. Back to Henschel. Henschel with the drop punt forward. Perry in good position. And he takes a mark. Sideways to Risciuto. And he's got it in better shape.
Well, they're losing their way a bit here, the Roos. They're under some fierce pressure from a really committed, organised, hard tackling side, and they're just losing their way. They look as if they're on their heels. They don't look like they got any run, or maybe that's just because their opponents look so polished and clean.
I reckon big Leroy Brown might have been asking what the difference was between that one and the one 5 minutes ago, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely.
89% converter, this man, from this position of the ground.
He's as good as it gets, Mark Risciuto. We saw him kick one from outside the 50 on the run a moment ago. Having another fine year. Kick on the way. Have a look at the ball. He is just a class act. And Adelaide steamroll on.
I thought dating again would be tough.
And look at the work from Biglands, Gary. I know you've refused to acknowledge that today, but this one sends them forward. Thompson and a free kick and a shot on goal. No, it'll go against. It'll be the Roos. What? Just Colbert.
Very conscious of not repeating the talking what you've been saying all day, Brian.
Archer.
So I'll allow you two to continue to sing the praises of Rhett Biglands, who's been very good.
Half back. Low ball, looking for Thompson. The kick's good.
Taking a lot to get him to acknowledge the Adelaide success of late, JB.
High ball forward. Marking player was Jones. Couldn't take it. Harding taken to ground. And the umpire will bounce the ball 70 out from the Kangaroos' goal.
It's been a bit silly there, Brian. I've been very, very forthright in the praise for these Crows. They've been great. Just not the greatest fan of the ruckman, which you'd know, but Biglands has been doing the job nicely.
Simpson second up. Wells, hands were good. Harris gets around a couple. Now needs to find a target. Left foot kick forward. Look at the numbers back for Adelaide. They're just hovering around the footy. And the ball will be thrown in.
Very hard to ignore those stats there, Brian. They have been in ripping touch.
Well, it is, Gary. Been very good touch. Head over the ball there. A couple of roos resulting in the Sinclair mark just inside the centre square as they work it to Stevens in good posse. 55 metres. Good looking ball. Finally got one.
Metropolitan Plumbing.
Thing is on ballers first touch, and when you do that with these Adelaide on ballers, they will generally make you pay. Much needed goal for the Kangaroos there through Stevens. That's nice. Harris got it to Sinclair, and now they're running a Makepeace. Makepeace to Wells. Wells and McLeod. Talked about that matchup earlier. Some skill attached there. Big hard hit, but there's no free. The ball will be thrown in. Nathan Thompson, that's fair enough. Jason Tawney banged over the line. They nullify each other. Petrie out of the ruck. Tumbling ball forward. Matner, Ben Hart. He's wrapped up in the Wells tackle. Play on the call. Kangaroos fans don't like it. And the footy will be bounced.
Just a bit of a worry for their big forwards. Nathan Thompson, who's been very good in recent times. Just the one goal. Prior opportunity, maybe. Touch unlucky there.
Haven't got the job done today, the big talks for the Roos, have they?
Sam Rocker's looked
blood rule here.
Impotent in lots of ways, and that's a worry. I mean, the big games and the big grounds come September. It's Corey Jones coming off. That's a decision they've got to make. He's just had the one kick, big Sav, and the defenders for Adelaide have very much had their measure.
Corey Jones with a bloodied nose there. Umpire emergency style signalling the transaction over the line, and he'll get some attention and be back in action shortly.
David Hale was on, but he got about 10 metres on, got called back, and Eddie Sansbury came on and replaced him.
Players sorting themselves out into their one-on-one matchups while we wait for the resumption of play here. In the forward pocket for the Roos. Hudson. The top went Simpson. He's often the third man up, Gary, in that contest. Adam Simpson.
Yeah, well, that was the setup. You saw Archer just push off the back of the pack. Lots of people, well, many would have thought that the ball would have been knocked goal side, but Archer was set the other way. Kangaroos have actually had more footy in this match than Adelaide. That speaks volumes for the efficiency of the Crows.
Lots of players from both teams surrounding the Sherrin. The high ball, no one able to take clean possession. Finally, Tawney picked it up. He was spun around and alleged to have thrown the ball.
A feeling he might have missed the first free kick, this umpire, and just picked out the next one.
Sansbury.
Look at that, Gary.
That's the efficiency, isn't it?
Trying to find something he likes the look of forward. Eventually he goes backwards and sideways to Colbert. They're going to try and drag a couple out of that forward 50 area.
Well, there's no space at all in the forward 50 for the Kangaroos, so you maybe just got to take a risk and belt it in there. See if one of your big men can take a high mark.
Or be patient as they have been, Gary, and wait for an opening to
try and pull a few out of there, Gary.
Sure, I reckon that Adelaide will just let them go, and they can do this all day.
This is Rawlings. Petrie now runs for him. He's got it inside the forward 50, but he's not on the greatest of angles. He likes his chances by the look of it.
Well, it's not the highest percentage play, is it, I guess, but they have been battling here to get a goal.
Just to drag it back to around about a 6-goal margin. From outside the 50, like a player thought it was over the mark, but the footy's missed the lot by a considerable distance.
Riley. McGregor. Adelaide have kicked 3 goals to the Roos 1 in this third quarter here. Kenny McGregor looks for Tawney. Stretches, couldn't quite hang on to it. Did well, though, on that occasion, Doughty, but Archer was there to cut it off at half-back, and he had Scott Welsh in the first half and has been relieved of that duty now.
It's very stop-start for the Roos and very much sideways movement here.
Here's Watt on the wing. Petrie's coming to the bench for a spell, and Watt to Sansbury. That'll be punched away. With interest, you would have thought, the players gathering here for the Crows. Hart sees Henschel, open forward line. Now, Henschel's got no one on in front of him at the moment. Thompson's made ground if he wants to go, but he's got Lee Brown as an opponent, so he decides wisely not to. McLeod, he'll look to draw and give to Perry. He does that now. Perry was nicely corralled, centering ball. Roos got numbers back in the end pretty well.
Harris, short to Rawlings. This is Makepeace. And Sinclair. Left foot ball forward. Harding in best position. And he's taken a contested mark, 30 out.
Well, the difference here, James, is they came up the middle of the ground rather than going sideways and sideways. I'm not sure it was through great management or a little bit of luck, but they did come down the centre corridor and they get themselves a mark in a position that you would think they could score a goal from, as opposed to Petrie being tucked out on the boundary line.
Just their second contested mark for the match inside the forward 50, the Roos. Adelaide have taken 9. Set shots not always Lee Harding's strength. See how he goes from here. Must, you sense, make every poster winner from here on in, the Kangas. It is working hard to miss. That's hit the woodwork.
Yes, well, that's not going to help the cause, that's for sure. All that frenetic opening to this game and the pressure and the running, it's just dried up over the last 10 minutes. Been a nothing 10-minute period here.
It has. Adelaide stamped their authority early in the third quarter with 3 consecutive goals, and since then they've shut up shop a bit. Or is it the Roos that have closed it down, Gary, with their style?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe. There seems to be more numbers. Just a slow contest right now.
Yeah, wide. Sansbury won't trap this one. We'll have a boundary throw in deep in the Kangaroos forward 50.
The last time they met was in round 6. They won by 10 points, the Adelaide Crows. You remember Dean Laidley came out after the game and said, well, that's as good as Adelaide can play. We've got plenty more in us.
Do you think that was right?
Obviously not, Brian, because they have not looked back, the Crows.
They have got better and better, and you get the feeling they haven't reached the heights that they're wanting to scale this year as well. McLeod spun. Jones, traffic. He's on his favoured left boot, and it's a good-looking kick. Harding trying to mark it on the chest. Needed to extend the jukes, the arms.
Jukes.
Harding. Archer will always give you a contest. Did he suck it in and under? Umpire said yep. And I think Glenn knew.
He's not a happy man, Glenn Archer.
Perhaps he didn't.
Right. It's not been his day.
He met with the umpires 2 weeks ago, Glenn Archer, to talk about his frustrations and his back-chatting. I guess still spills over every now and then. No 50-metre, though, so it couldn't have been too bad. Brett Bigland's back on. Now maybe this will just kick-start this game.
Inside the Crows forward 50. Nice pick up from Harris. Into the centre of the ground. A couple of Kangaroos go to ground, but Rawlings can go all the way here. He's got Shannon Grant running. Should honour that hard running, and he does. In fact, it's Sainsbury. Ball lands in front of him. He's still got lots of time and should convert, and does. The Roos get one back.
And Chris Jones.
Well, you can see Martin Matner there. He came off, and the doctor's looking at his left knee. He was limping considerably as he came off.
Kangas in this third quarter have had 25 more disposals, 13 more handballs and 16 more marks, yet trail on the scoreboard. Harris, now, they've kicked the last two, the Roos, and they're within 36 points. Another one, Gary, with 3 minutes remaining in the quarter before three-quarter time would make it interesting, and here it is. Stevens just goes short to Jones, and I think they might get that third one.
Yeah, good call, Brian. Bit of tempo about proceedings there. The ball movement was quicker, not that slow stuff that was early in the piece. They had players running into holes, running into spaces. Thompson led out with some purpose. He's really one player that needs to just grit the teeth and see if he can't provide the spark. I know he's been sensational for them in the last month, but now's the time they need him. And Corey Jones just needs to kick this goal. Hasn't always been, I think we've said it more than once today, the most reliable kick.
21 goals for the year, this man, to make it 3 in a row, and the accuracy rate from this position is high. Doesn't miss to one particular side. Got it. Roos are steaming back with 3 in a row.
Point ball game. If they can sneak another one here, they're approaching that 20-point deficit they'll need to be anywhere near this high-quality Adelaide outfit. Out of the centre again. Forward ball, bouncing near the line, and that might be over the line with Goodwin. Claimed in a tackle. I think the footy was over the line, and it'll be thrown in.
It's just one of those tiny little things, James, when you've got momentum, you win the ball out of the centre. Corey Jones got to work so hard to get the ball back into the centre corridor. Here's Glenn Archer. It's where he's a little frustrated.
I think he got a pinch on the bum, Gary. That was what was frustrating him.
Oh, what?
That's what happened. In that little stoppage there, he got pinched
On the bum.
and he didn't enjoy it, Glenn.
Free kick here for the Roos. Jones has got it beyond 50, so another scoring opportunity here. Jones goes for the big boy Thompson. Got to do it in the air. Couldn't get it done. Wells. Harvey. This way, that away. Turn them around and fire for more. Missed.
Will a momentum swing here for the Kangaroos. Another one would be nice.
Burton gets it out in front of Tawney. Good kick. Steps inboard. Henschel's been a good player. Cross ground. Dangerous footy this now. Van Berlo. Low and nice to Thompson.
They've always seemed to have an answer whenever they've been challenged. The Adelaide Crows, they've got too many good players through the middle. Thompson having a spell down in the goal square. This is too easy. Van Berlo, nice, neat player.
Look at Van Berlo from West Perth. Some composure with the Sherrin. Scott Thompson, 8-2 from set shots. This will make it tough for the Kangaroos. He's got it. Big goal. Approaching three-quarter time.
Goal, and I believe Van Berlo, Gary, has taken over the reins as the fittest player at Adelaide. Brett Burton surpassed him in all the fitness runs this year.
Wealth of knowledge on the Crows there, Big Brian.
Van Berlo is just a man of great talent in the fitness stakes, great in intellect.
And a rocket scientist.
Getting it done there. Simpson inside 50. McLeod, the free man down there at the moment. He's the dangerous man to be free.
Well, the minute to go, they're just saying no more goals. That is some sort of a tackle from
Glenn
Archer.
Archer. Just a bear hug to the tummy.
Interesting to hear Gary talk about how good a player Scott Thompson is, Brian. So good that his old club just let him walk out of the joint.
Interesting.
Another ridiculous statement by you, James. It's nothing to do with me. Very good player, Scott Thompson.
Boundary throw in.
It's been ordinary today, James.
Picked up by Van Berlo. High left foot ball. Henschel and Colbert. Awkward bounce of the footy. Stevens with pace. Long forward from Stevens. It's going, it's going, it's touched on the line.
A couple of long balls there from Michael Stevens. 17 seconds to go. They went the length of the ground, the Adelaide Crows, from their last point kick in. I'm not sure they're going to have the time today, in this instance.
34-point margin with Hart in deep defensive territory here for the Adelaide Crows. He would be aware that the clock has ticked over 31.5 minutes in this quarter and therefore must be getting a call play on here. Now, did he dispose of it? That's the question. The umpire said yes. Ooh. Siren sounds, crowd, hometown as they are, not happy, but I think the umpire probably got it right. And at three-quarter time, the Adelaide Crows 34 points in advance of the Kangaroos. They got 3 in a row there at one stage, the Kangas, Gary, but just that steadying goal from Thompson was vital.
They seem to have some cards up their sleeve. The Adelaide Crows, 34 points to margin. The Kangaroos will fight it out. Stay with us here at the Telstra Dome. Three-quarter time here at the Telstra Dome, and it is 34 points the margin in favour of Adelaide. They seem to have all the answers. Glenn Archer is getting a touch frustrated there during that third quarter. You have a couple of words with the umpires, Chris Jones.
He certainly did. We've got the vision to show you straight off the top. Glenn Archer, he shouldn't do this. Only the captain is allowed to speak to the umpires at any break, and here he is, just having a chat to them as he left the ground. He was very, very frustrated. He went back, and it's pretty self-explanatory, that, isn't it? Not happy with the umpires at all. Lee Brown there taking him away from the umpires. Adelaide, Neil Craig was very animated. Dean Laidley also, as always, really imploring his players to give one last effort.
Good way of not getting a 50-metre penalty, though. Speak to them during the break.
And I think the rule says you cannot go and approach the umpires, but
that's right.
The way he explained that is that he was walking past them on the way to the huddle.
Fair enough.
Like a man with experience in that area, Gary.
Now, I think we used to be able to... In fact, John Northey would send me to the umpires at most quarter-time and three-quarter-time breaks. It did us no good. There he is. As I said, he called a meeting with the umpires himself with Jeff Geese.
And one of the reasons he did that, Gary, is he has had more 50-metre penalties awarded against him than any other player in the competition. I think dating back to 1999.
Really? Well, he's just such a competitor. It does boil over a little bit from time to time. But anyway, 34 points. It is a fair margin. It is a fair margin against a side who are playing the football that Adelaide are. But, as we've said a couple of times, they know no other way, the Kangaroos, than to keep on trying. But, gee whiz, look in the middle of the ground and you see is it Thompson and Rashudo and Biglands, and up the other end, Welsh with 6 goals. Shirley's in the middle as well. Goodwin's been terrific at half-back. Edwards has been great. It's a very talented outfit.
Big Red. Very important cog in the Adelaide wheel. As we get ready for the run home, the Crows with an imposing 34-point lead. Kangaroos going to have to do everything right. Can they get a spark from this man? Daniel Wells. Left foot ball. Not direct, but it finds its target in Harding. Called to go now. Tries to get around Tawney, ambitious, but he does. And then the running shot's brilliant.
Nice work.
The Kangas get the first of the final turn.
8-point margin, the closest the Kangaroos have been since the latter parts of the second quarter. And here we are in the final. They are a chance. The way Harding celebrated that, you get the feeling that they've really got themselves into a state of mind where they can still believe they can win this game.
Jason Tawney sits now after that last passage of play on Lee Harding, so Neil Craig quick to identify that challenge. He's moved Michael Dougherty down there.
Have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. The Kangaroos, Rashudo, Harvey, Simpson taps it in favour of Archer almost. Somehow got a boot to it. Now Archer will work it to Wells. No, he won't. He'll go all the way himself. Little low ball, make piece marks. Too far out to score, I think. He's got Petrie on short. Got him. Directly in front, 40 metres out. They line up to make it 2 in a row. And can you believe it? A 22-point margin if successful.
Well, this keeps the game alive. And this is the great spirit of the Kangaroos, I guess. It's an intangible. No one really can explain it. It's just they know no other way than to keep on coming. And Drew Petrie, the Red Biglands just off to the side, pushing into a dangerous spot.
7 goals for the year, the big man. And here he is with a more than 50% chance of converting here on past stats. Drew Petrie got his body too close to the ball and didn't give himself enough room.
Gee, Brian, that disappoints the Kangaroos. Had a very important shot against the Eagles about 3 weeks ago, late in the game, and missed. Got to take your chances against this side.
McLeod. Short and accurate to Goodwin. This is Dowdy. Here Glenn Archer telling Lee Hardy to stay with his man, but there's Big Sav slipping across. Taking the grab, and this is within range for the big boy.
Pressure does funny things. And that is just no vision, no peripheral vision. You surely had to see Big Severio rock. You can't miss him. He's an expert from outside 50.
Just got the journey comfortably as far as distance is concerned. Listen to the Roos fans if he steers this through. From outside the 50. He has kicked it. The Kangaroos have got the first couple of the final term.
The shin-boner spirit is about to deliver again here. They've kicked 5 out of the last 6.
Both sides have got a spare man on their forward line, Brian.
They're within 21 points and they have the ball in defence.
It's extraordinary.
Colbert to Petrie. Thought about the play onto Archer.
Shannon Grant is in his forward half with not an opponent.
Make peace to target. Use the body to well. Keep the front position. Edwards brilliant early in the game. Wells just knew where his teammates were. Harvey. Grant can run. He can run inside 50. Kick on the way is bending back.
Extraordinary.
3 in a row. They're within 15 points.
It's A&R stock takes.
To 5 in this final term in favour of the Kangas. They've kicked the first 3 goals to tighten it right up. What's this Adelaide team got to offer here? A clearance, terrific mark. Edwards has been sensational today. Big carry here for him. He'll look to dump it off. The Kangas get numbers back. Edwards with patience. Goes to Perry. Climbed into the back of a couple. Archer and Stevens.
Simpson's hurt.
Courage from Simpson.
Archer got it to Wells. The movement of Wells. He'll stream through the centre. What supreme pace over the top. Rawlings closing in on 40. Drop punt on the way. Got it. 4 in a row to the Kangaroos.
Well, you can run to Wells, you can run to Rawlings, but run to the captain who's coming off in the hands of the trainers, because this is what leadership's all about. Look, back you come, body on the line, wear one for the team, and the direct result of that was this. This speed of Wells meant that Edwards had to come to him. He gave it over. Nice composure here. Just steadied and slowed and kicked the goal. Take your hat off to Adam Simpson.
Roos have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals, 4 in a row, and they trail by 9. Now Simpson is off the ground, maybe just winded, we think. Great courage it was, got a knock in the kidney area, and Archer piles in.
Just leadership personified right there, Brian. Tyson Edwards had the footy. He knew he was going to get smashed by Perry, but he kept going back.
What do Adelaide do in this situation now?
Oh, they've got to attack the game. They can't try and lock this up. They've got good enough players. They've just got to go after the game here.
Harris got their tails up. Look at Archer in there fighting hard. Should have got a free for that almost.
Lee Colbert's loose in defence. Now, I wouldn't be allowing that. You've got a winner in Scott Welsh, who's kicked 6 goals. Give him every chance to kick 8 and win the game. Just makes it hard when Colbert. That's not what Adelaide would want, to have Colbert loose.
Roos have kicked 4 goals in 7 minutes in this final quarter to set the game alight. Harvey, clever use of the feet. Stevens,
Free kick.
Harvey appealing for the free. Umpire not obliging. Prosciutto had to get rid of it. The pressure from the Roos at the moment enormous.
You can't have this, Brian. You cannot have it.
By Goodwin and Colbert in defence.
So Colbert will come to the fat side of the ground. Handball to Sinclair was hot. He will go down the line. This is a dangerous kick. Harvey's got to sit under it. Henschel closed him down. Matner, well done. Got it to Henschel. Into the centre now. All these balls important. Doughty trying to play on. He's got to come back and kick over the mark. Handball to Henschel. Oh, going to have to come back. Doughty. Back to Goodwin. Short ball. Dangerous ball. Perry picks it up. The long ball forward. Fist away from Shannon Watt. Thought about keeping it in. Now it's over the line.
In their last 3 games, the Adelaide Crows, Gary, they have faded. Round 14, they kicked just 1 goal against Fremantle. Round 15, no goals against Hawthorn. Round 16, last week, they managed to get a few against the Bulldogs in 5. But they have faded a little in the last quarters. Colbert along the ground.
That's a free kick. There has got to be a free kick.
Perhaps the covering of some 25 or 30 metres might have got him off the hook. Let's go down to Chris Jones.
Adam Simpson clearly hurt after that crunching hit, but he is up and about and will come back on if needed.
Okay, well, I think he'll be needed, that is for sure, because they're 9 points adrift, the Roos, and we've got 13, 14 minutes of play left. Prosciutto took a little time. Umpires have pinged him.
Well, they've got some momentum here, the Kangaroos.
They have. Wells lurking dangerously, but Petrie at half-back sees the opportunity with Watt to transfer the play. Now, there's not much on for Watt, but he can run and carry the ball here, Gary.
He just should keep running.
Couple of bounces in the middle. The kick's important. Missed Doughty.
Boy, he hacked out the other wing. Stevens on his own.
Bock on the rebound, but Sinclair's got it. He's in trouble now. Desperately important ball in the centre of the ground, and it's locked up.
Well, this is a great contest now because you've got a team, I think, that's got more skill and class in Adelaide against a team that are just throwing everything at it. So we've sung the praises of Adelaide all day. Now they've got to stand up, withhold this, and counter-punch.
So often you see teams run at big deficits, Gary, but can't maintain the rage.
Exactly right.
Biglands has been fantastic. Makepeace went without it. Again, a locked-up ball.
And I think the reason for that, James, is that the Roos have caught Adelaide off guard a little, and they haven't had a chance to regain their composure. And I think in the last 3 or 4 minutes, Adelaide have regained a bit of composure.
But they've still gone very defensive, Brian. They've gone with this loose man in defence, which gives Kangaroos what they want, a loose man in Colbert.
Petrie edged out of it.
Ooh,
crashing in on Goodwin.
Look at Archer.
Stoppage will result in the ball being bounced again.
I can just get the ISO camera on Archer and Prosciutto at this next stop play, because if they actually meet, then the foundations of the Telstra Dome will shake. 25, touch over 25,000 in to watch this contest.
Archer is just an absolute man on a mission at the moment to win the ball. Goodwin was being held. Perry trapped it. It'd be a free kick to him because he was being held as well, the umpire said. Chop of the arms. That was, in fact, the original hold to Goodwin, which I mentioned in the call.
This is where Welsh has been so dangerous.
Goodwin. Welsh slips. Burton at the back. Brown's got his work cut out. Burton kept it in. Well done. Retreats slightly. Looks for the troops to come from behind enemy lines. None arrived. So Harvey's able to rip it out of the defensive 50 and find Ferrito. The runners are there. Ferrito with a drilling ball. Long over the back. Jones, off hands, Harding, right foot step. Missed.
Gee, it's dangerous when a ball gets over the back, Lee Harding. I know McLeod has got lightning pace as well, but there aren't too many in the league to chase him down if a footy goes over the back of a pack.
A fair old foot race, that one. Kick in, looking for Rutten. Drop the mark. Numbers here with the Kangaroos. Well done, Rutten.
Great
Did
effort.
brilliantly well.
He was gone 2-on-1, Rutten. That was a great effort.
Made something out of nothing. Won his side the ball. Plays like that can win your side the game. Doughty. McLeod, the handball broken up. The composure is good from the chap. Off to Perry. Perry to centre half forward. Burton in good shape. Didn't complete the mark. Here's Rashudo. Tumbling ball forward. Makepeace.
Good effort.
Got there. And a saving mark for the Kangaroos.
The Roos at the moment are just getting a fingertip on everything, Gary. They're getting a little bump. They're just getting a touch of everything at the moment.
Put some pressure on too, haven't they, Brian? And Simpson, the captain, back on.
Petrie and Stevens combining. Well done, Stevens, originally. There he is. Suffered a hard knock for the team moments ago, but resulted in a goal. Henschel able to run off half-back. Delivered the ball nicely to the skipper. He's got some composure, this man. He'll pick the right option, but he's wanting someone to come at it. In the end, he had to drill it wrong. In front is Thompson. Arriving late, Makepeace did well. Brown now works it out wide. Got the numbers here, the Roos, 2-on-1. Great effort by Matner to make Sinclair really earn it, and Sinclair stood up and delivered as well. This is perfect football at the moment. Umpire let that one go. Should have been a free in my book, Matner's way. Welsh, a day out he has had today, kicking 6 goals. This one is a little too far.
Rashudo off.
Sideways ball. Finds Box, steadying the flow. Bock inboard. Little bit of room to run for Dowdy. Didn't run with it. Kick over the top. Well thought out. Good one. Will line up within range. Is this superstar midfielder.
Just a touch lazy, the Kangaroo players. I think they looked around and saw that they had a lot of room. They've all got hands on their heads. It has been really frantic. Both teams, you take your hat off to them. They're really going at it, but I just think they headed towards goals there to try and protect the goal square and didn't really work hard enough to find a free man.
Neil Craig there, and a moment ago Charlie Walsh walking and talking to Rashudo, but here is Goodwin from just beyond 50. A lovely kick. Brilliant ball by the Adelaide Crows, who's steady.
Laidley just giving the water bottle a hammering. Goodwin, a sensational goal from outside 50 from the set shot. Steadies things.
Might open up a bit here, you reckon?
Rawlings banged into Tyson Edwards. Handball away, but Rawlings paid the free. Not sure what it was for. So Brady Rawlings just got to go long now and direct. Big Sav, fist away. Shirley back to Burton. Burton to McGregor. Ken McGregor told to go now, and he does. In search of Perry, missed him. Footy on the ground. Lee Brown wraps it up. Perry involved as well. Umpire Goldspink blows his whistle.
You just wonder whether the Roos could raise another big effort against the Adelaide Crows here. Yes, our water bottle, that's the bin over there in the corner, James. That's what he was aiming for.
Just placing it very neatly in that bin too, Dean.
Very tidy conscious they are.
Yep. Kick comes back out. Burton getting involved in this last quarter. Centering ball. It's on here. It's lovely. McGregor. Now he's got lurking down there. Van Berlo. The mad scientist. Here he is to let rip. And just the composure needed there from the young man was not quite what it should have been.
But what a thrill, what a great experience to be involved in a game that's been played at a really frantic pace.
Wells, around Welsh. Dangerous ball, this one. It's going to work. Colbert.
Oh, there they go.
Got the runners forward. Grant's going to end up with it. Petrie there as well. Grant could do with the shepherd. He's going to get one in a second. He'll favour his left-hand side. Centering ball, Thompson. That's a very good mark.
Big set play, wasn't it, from fullback, went the length.
Go to the big men when in doubt. He had a lot of other options there, Gary.
Yeah, it was 2-on-1 still, wasn't it? But he needs to go back and put this through, Nathan Thompson. Kicked the first goal inside probably 20 seconds, 15 seconds of the match, and hasn't added to it since.
Big set shot goal at the other end from Goodwin. This must go through for the Kangaroos. Thompson, drop punt on the way. Roos fans like it, and the Kangas get one back.
This quarter, 7-3 Roos. Kangaroos have kicked 4 of their last 5 goals in this final quarter. have been from beyond 45 metres. Out of the middle, Hudson did well. Work at foot. Strong mark, McGregor. Just lovely hands.
Great mark, wasn't it, Brian? The Dukes up. That's just a contested mark. That's why these are worth 8 of those dinky little cheap ones that blokes get running out to the boundary. That is what footy's about right there. And when the game's in the balance, to take one of those and hopefully for the Crows go back and drill it.
Now, Roos fans, if he kicks this, still plenty of time, but it's going to make it difficult. But with the form they're in this last quarter of the Roos, as long as this one doesn't drag too much out of them, stay around, because that group of people there are going to ensure you're in the contest till the final siren. McGregor, short ball, Rashudo. Pratt was arriving late, but I don't think you'd be penalised at 50 here. It was an honest contest. And Rashudo will now line up from about 25 metres out. Petrie runs past there and will take a spell.
Someone's got to pay for that. Mark Rashudo, that was a long time, a long time as he lined that one up. Kenny McGregor, and not exactly sure at this stage who Rashudo's man is. We'll find out after he kicks it.
Laidley thinking of another match up there. Now, Rashudo kicked consecutive goals in the third quarter.
Beautiful kick of the footy, Brian.
Here he is with easily the most crucial kick of the game to date. Mark Rashudo, there's the angle. We're right behind it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this, because Rashudo has kicked his third and got the Crows out of trouble momentarily.
Show at Telstra Dome. Mark Rashudo, when it really mattered, marked in gold. And that's going to make it awfully tough for the Kangaroos. Archer can't control it. Hudson's handball missed. There is the Roo. Harris trying to worry him out of it. Goodwin claimed. Sinclair hard at the footy. And the umpire will bounce it again. 6 minutes left. And there's a stat. 2002. No doubt there's plenty to like about this Adelaide outfit. Hale.
Oh,
free kick.
Free kick Archer, I reckon, for a push.
So lots of space either side of this leading contest. Here comes Thompson. Beautiful kick, Archer. Wonderful kick. Out in front of Big Nathan.
Still they come, the Kangaroos. If he kicks this, that margin comes back to 9 points, and the way he kicked the last one, you'd be suggesting he's a fair chance.
Drew's not happy with the spot either. I reckon that it should have been bounced back a little, but Nathan Thompson kicked a big goal a moment ago. They seem to have to keep him just to keep that belief up. Kick on the way. It's hit the post.
Well, that end, they turned left to right. He would have known that. He did aim just inside the left goal post, but swung a little more than he'd hoped.
Crows have been good in this situation, Brian, from going one end to the other. With only 5 minutes on the clock. We'll try and win the footy back, the Kangas.
Bassett says, come at me and I'll deliver you the ball, and Doughty responds to that call. Now, they've only got to be half composed here in this last 5 minutes, the Crows, and they can run 2 or 3 minutes off the clock here, Gary. Then it makes it very, very difficult for the Kangaroos. Ferrito, though, is going to ensure that the Roos get another crack. Harvey. Elusiveness is something that he's good at. Kick to Harding, mark.
That's a good mark. That's a great bit of play.
Now, he's hurt his hip here, but I'm sure he'll be all right, or his arm.
Well, he should get the best kick in the team over to stand next to him. So if he has to go off,
Got a bit of a stinger here, I think, in maybe the arm or the shoulder. Now, this is the most difficult spot on the ground to convert today on what we've seen.
he did kick one here earlier in the quarter, didn't he, Lee Harding, from a similar spot?
But he is a 70% converter. So here we go. Watch the ride from left to right for Lee Harding. He needs to have courage to almost kick it outside the left goalpost here. Kick on the way, not on. Across the face, as every ball in that pocket has gone today.
That's why he's a centurion, Dick Bryzer.
4 minutes remaining, Gary. 13-point margin. let me give you the good news for Adelaide over the next few weeks, boys. They play their next 4 games at home.
Oh, well, that is telling, isn't it? They are top 2. They are there, you'd suggest.
Perry has got it deep in his own defensive area. Looks for Rashudo. Wells over the top. Stevens has got to be clean with the ball. Gets the handball away. Great tackling from Adelaide. Archer.
Pace.
Got some pace. The handball to Stevens. Stevens over the top. A marking player needed him. Kangaroos and Big Sam got the huge chest and wrapped it up.
This is all about tempo for the Kangaroos. Brian caught it right. If Adelaide can control the footy and slow the tempo down, they get across the line. What the Kangaroos just got to attack at all costs. Kicks his goals back to 7 points. Now, he will kick it, you would suggest. And there's still plenty of time.
It's a big contested mark from a man who hasn't done much, it has to be said. He kicked a nice set shot goal earlier in the term. This is a big kick. Right behind Savroka. He's got it. Oh. The Kangaroos are coming hard at Adelaide.
There is the time remaining, 3 minutes 10. That's plenty of time for a result the Roos way, but the Crows, can they hang on in these last couple of minutes? Harris copping one in the nose.
Gee, deep breath. Let's have a look down the Adelaide forward line. They've only got 2 men inside their forward 50.
Now, if Crows get a loose possession and a stoppage in play here, they will run the clock down. The Roos must maintain the momentum in the loose ball at least. Kick forward. Colbert did well. Now, here's the chance. Clean pick-up. Intelligent play for Rito. Equally intelligent. Wide to Stevens. Now they must start to move forward. A risk is taken here. A lot on the shoulders of Harris. Did well. Grant pursued by Welsh. Someone in support he wants. Centering ball. Here we go. Oh, boy. I thought the corridor was on. Instead, they go wide and Harris marks.
The Crows have racked numbers back. They're trying to shut this thing down.
McLeod attacks the ball. A chance to nail it shot. Welsh. McGregor.
Great vision from Scotty Welsh. And you've got to say some good coaching from Neil Craig. He just put numbers back. Now, the Kangaroo supporters here and at home may be frustrated about the fact that they didn't go more direct, quicker. But they couldn't, because every time they looked up, there were 3 and 4 Adelaide players there. And eventually the overuse was a turnover, and that was some great vision from Scotty Welsh. He's had an excellent afternoon.
Very unselfish play. Could have easily just wound up and gone for home and got caught up in the whole momentum and adrenaline rush that he would have out there. But great poise to just see that outside ball to McGregor. And he will line up to seal the game. Minute 3/4 left. Accuracy rate is high, just on the AFL average. McGregor comes in, 30 metres out. No difficulty about this one. Keeps it low and nails it. Adelaide home!
To pick the pocket. Welsh's vision brilliant. And the Adelaide Crows, you sense, have done enough. It's been a ripping final term. 6 goals to 3 from the Kangaroos. But when it's mattered, the big players for the Adelaide Crows have made a difference. Dean Laidley thumps down the headwear.
Well, he would be frustrated. Twice they've got close in last quarters against the top 2 teams, and twice they've come up short, you would think.
Wells over the top. Jones ripped out of it. Kangaroos cannot waste a second. They need plenty. And we're inside the last minute. Insurmountable. Barrel inside the attacking 50. Adelaide with huge numbers back. Tyson Edwards has been terrific. So has the Roo. And the bouncing ball to McGregor. Got that kick around the body happening for Rito. Picks it up. Gets it to Glenn Archer. Excellent pressure from Matner. This is Harris. And Stevens. They just cannot find a target any further forward due to the numbers back.
All 18 Crows in one half of the ground here.
Jones can step around, and again he can go for the flying attempted barrel. but it's not going to work because Adelaide have played it to perfection.
They have indeed. They will make it 5 in a row, Adelaide, and they will have won 8 of their last 9 games. Take a bow, Adelaide Crows, because you were absolutely superb today. But if you're a Roos supporter, you've got to love what you saw in the last quarter here today.
A great game of footy, and these two teams, you'd suggest, are going to be around in September. Frustration for Dean Laidley, but Neil Craig would be pretty happy. 13 points the margin. The Crows, 122, 109 the Roos. And Simon Goodwin, another terrific game, but look, this was a fantastic game. Really intense early on. It looked like Adelaide had opened up the Kangaroos, and the frustration for Dean Laidley would be that his team will get the pats on the back for hanging in there long enough, for having the courage to fight back, but it doesn't give him the 4 points, and that's what wouldn't be pleasing him. But the Adelaide side, they are deserved at top 2 at the moment, and you'd suggest with home games coming up, Neil Craig, the coaching performance of the year, will have him in that top 2 at the end of the year. Let's go down to Chris Jones with the Adelaide skipper, Mark Prosciutto.
Well, Mark, that was just a fantastic game. They kept coming at you, didn't they?
Yeah, they're a tough side. They always have a crack, and we've been looking forward to this game all week. It was a real measuring stick game for us, this one, and to beat them over here after what they said about us last time was a great effort.
Gee, it was a tough and bruising last quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the way they play, and we knew if we were going to win today, we really had to match them in the contested ball, and I think we're a bit down at three-quarter time, and Craigie reminded us of it, and I thought we fought it out pretty well, even though they got a few goals in the last quarter.
How much of an inspiration was it what they said about you last time?
You know, a little bit. It's not, you don't take too much out of it, but look, it was a game. The second spot was up for grabs, and it'd be a huge advantage if we could get that at the end of the year. And it was, you know, we had to win today if we were going to get it. So it was a great performance.
Well, congratulations. You put on a great show.
Thanks, mate.
He did indeed, one of the best 4 on the ground in my eyes. James, any argument?
No argument at all.
They are the real deal, that's for sure. And look, they did it comfortably without great, massive contributions from some of the superstars, and that's the most impressive thing. That not quite the changing of the guard, but they're preparing for it pretty nicely. Big win here for the Adelaide Crows this afternoon. They consolidate a top 2 spot. 19-8, 122, 13 points the margin, 16-13, 109. You beauty indeed. They are the pride of South Australia, the Adelaide Crows. Great win today. It was a great game of footy in actual fact. 13 points was the eventual margin. Scott Welsh was best on ground with 6 goals and a critical hand in one late in the game. Mark Prosciutto also superb, as was Tyson Edwards at the big possession winners. Brent Harvey continues to have a great year. Thought Jess Sinclair was great for the Roos. There's some big names there in Adelaide's top lot. Prosciutto, Burton, Edwards, Goodwin and Perry. They were all fantastic. And the Adelaide Crows are in ripping shape. Their coach deserves much of the credit, Neil Craig, and he's down in at the rooms with Chris Jones.
He certainly does, Gary. Neil, that was just a fantastic game.
It was a great game of footy, Chris, and I'm sure, you know, both groups of supporters would have certainly would have enjoyed it. And you know, it was one of the great games probably this year in terms of the quality of footy.
Without doubt, they had some interesting things to say about you after the last game. How much was that motivation for today?
Oh no, we didn't even go near that. We don't want to have to use external motivation for what we want to do. We're very clear about where we are as a club, what we want to try and achieve, and so yeah, we didn't even go there.
You should be very proud of them. Well done.
Yeah, they were fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Yes, they were indeed. Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Neil. They've got 4 of their remaining 5 games at Amy Stadium. What a fantastic story it is, and what a great introduction to AFL coaching for Neil Craig. Spare a thought for the Kangaroos. They were brave. They didn't turn it up, but once again, they just come up short against one of the great sides. 13 points the margin in favour of the Crows. Hope you enjoyed Sunday football.